Football is a stupid sport, and I don't know why any of us watch it. Welcome into the CHGO Bears Postgame Show, presented by Prize Picks. Daily fantasy sports made easy. Use promo code CHGO for a first deposit match up to $100. If you are on Prize Picks today, I hope you did not pick Robert Tonyan or Darnell Mooney to catch anything. What's up, guys? Adam Hoge, Mark Carman, Greg Braggs Jr. in what is just, for me at least, I'll just speak for myself, an all too familiar Bears loss. I could see it coming a million miles away in the fourth quarter. Somehow one team Justin Fields could run through a brick wall and not get tackled, but somehow Cam Mitchell flicks his heel in what probably turned out to be the biggest play of the game. On 4th and 1, on the first play of the fourth quarter, and he falls short of the first down. That's what the Bears' opponent gets. The Bears, meanwhile, it's just like everything in the fourth quarter is always going against them. And the ball, I just tweeted out the still, like the screenshot. The ball is like the ball from the hits.
Do you want this ball to demonstrate it? I'll give you.
Not just in Darnell Mooney's arm, lap. Look, we can bring up the screenshot too. I tweeted out. It's like all the way in here, and then it's up here somehow because Bears.
So just a behind the scenes peek, because honestly I have no idea how they lost that game. I'm gonna have to rewatch it 4 times to figure it out. They were the better team all day long. The defense was dominating. I don't understand what happened in the fourth quarter. I don't understand how Jaquan Brisker's blitzing and Justin Jones is trying to cover David Njoku. That makes no sense to me. I don't understand how Darnell Mooney literally had the ball in his hands. I don't understand how Tyler Scott had that drop. I don't understand how Robert Tonyan had that drop. I understand nothing of what happened today. I don't even understand, honestly, at this point, like if you look at the whole season, 5-9, the Bears should be like a lock playoff team right now.
Look at this screenshot.
They should be.
Look at this.
Yeah,
it's in his lap. And I realized that probably the whole thing was a lot harder.
Yeah,
than it looks on TV.
I like that woman's coat in the background.
Like, look,
very bright.
It's in his lap.
I don't want to say that I've been in Darnell Mooney's spot because I haven't been, but like in recreational thing, like you're a little bit of spazzy because you're not expecting it, whatever. But like you're a professional. This is what you do. That's
the one situation where that's actually bullshit, though. Yeah. You are expecting it. That's how the play is run. That's how a Hail Mary is run. Okay. You're the short guy with the tip ball coming towards you.
Right, you got to know.
And by the way, that's like the 10th of at least 10th on the list of things that are worth being mad about. I just can't believe he didn't catch it.
I'm not making any excuses for him. The dude should have caught the ball, but I'm just saying it's not like a relaxed position for him. It's not a normal thing. They do work out it a ton. Bottom line, he should have caught the ball. I couldn't believe he didn't. I had a meltdown. My voice is ruined because of that play. But this is just. It's just too bad, man. They absolutely should have won the football game. We got help from Carolina, which we didn't necessarily want, but Atlanta lost. You're sitting. I mean, you're literally going to be playing meaningful games the rest of the way, and I suppose they still have a 2% chance or whatever the hell it is. But they they were better than the Browns, yet somehow they found a way to lose to the Browns. And the peek behind the scenes, Hoge 17-10, Browns get the football. You're like, this is where the Bears lose this. I've seen it too many times. And I literally said, no effing way. If there's is no chance that's happening. They've been, and you want to put me as the jinx, that's fine. But I'm like, the defense has not had problems with them all day long. And somehow they let Amari Cooper, 3 guys try to get a pick, and he walks into the end zone. That play shouldn't have happened. Then Njoku, all of a sudden, he starts running free. I mean, it was like it was a meltdown on every side of the fourth quarter of just a team that does not know how to win and just loses games that they should absolutely have, again, taken care of. Denver, Detroit, and now the Browns.
Yeah, it's a team of destiny thing, right? I mean, in 2001, when the Bears beat the Browns on a Mike Brown pick 6, what led to that to get into overtime was a Hail Mary that James Allen caught in the end zone to tie the game. And then there was the pick 6 after that. And that team was a team of destiny. They'd find ways to win every week, and that's what propelled them to get to the playoffs. This team finds ways to lose all year long, starting with the Tampa Bay game week 2, the Denver game up 28-3, the Detroit game up 2 score with 4 minutes to go in Detroit, and now the Cleveland game. And so their destiny is that they find ways to lose. Matt Eberflus, as great as he's done to get this defense turned around since the arrival of Montez Sweat, continues to lose games you have no business losing. And so at the end of the day, when we talk about, okay, now we're moving off of playoff scenarios, even if that seemed like a silly, idea to begin with, now you move on to, well, you had an evaluation of these guys. What are you going to do with them? Luke Getsy, you're not cutting the bill. You don't know what to do on 4th and short all season long. Matt Eberflus, you're not cutting the bill. You've lost how many games this year that you should have won? Situational football, and your defense is letting go of the rope. Justin Fields, as much as he shows his flashes of amazing talent, dime ball to Kmet in the corner, guys not helping him out. Robert Tonyan with a drop. Maybe it was a bigger drop than the Darnell Mooney Hail Mary. Again, 166 yards, 1 touchdown. At the end of the day, these 3 guys, Luke Getsy, Matt Eberflus, and Justin Fields, Ryan Poles has a big decision to make when the season is over. And the answer might be either too little, too late, or just not good enough. And that's going to be hard for some fans to swallow, but that is where we're trending towards now that playoff hopes are dashed. And I'm not mad at myself for getting my hopes up. This is what fans do. I want to get my hopes up. I don't want to be so cynical that I can't find a way to have hope in my team to win. They should have won this game. They should be in a playoff chase the last 3 games of the year. And instead, they lost. My hopes are dashed. And now we move on to the next subject, which is what they're going to do this offseason.
Look, I admittedly, and I was honest about it in the pregame and in my newsletter, didn't like my pick at all. Everything from a football standpoint, in a matchup standpoint, in a way these teams are trending standpoint, told me the Bears should win this game. But you can call me jaded or whatever. Just covered this too many times. They're going to let you down. They're just going to. And you combine that with just the Browns at home this year. I don't think the Browns are that good of a football team. And I don't think the Browns, especially right now with all the injuries they have, are that good of a football team. But for whatever reason, at home this year, they've gotten the job done. And so when pen came to paper or my fingers had to go to my keyboard to make a pick on this game, it was sort of a just because it was like a gut feeling that the Bears were going to lose this game by 3. And I'm not trying to take a victory lap for that. I had 16-13, I think. It's just, I don't know how to explain it. It's just how many times do the Bears end up in football games like this? And I'm not talking about recently. We can talk about recently. We can talk about history. We can talk a bit about basically the last 20 years, whatever, where they have a good defense and the defense is doing everything they can. They get a pick 6 in this game. They almost had another pick 6. 2, Eddie Jackson's tackled at the 1. When you add all that up, the takeaways they got, I don't care what happened. Honestly, let's get the blame game. 0 blame on the defense, even though they gave up that big play to Njoku at the end of the game. Do anything on offense. Why did it take, 9 plays from the 2-yard line and 3 penalties? And even after all that, you needed Justin Fields to run around for 15 minutes and make a heroic play just to score a touchdown? And that was their only touchdown of the game, right? Only offensive touchdown of the game?
Yep.
And
that's what they're dealing with on offense. This is what we've been dealing with, whether you're covering the games or you're a fan or whatever. This is what we've watched for decades now. That's not how you sustain success in the NFL. You have to have some offense. And then there's these moments where it looks so easy because the quarterback is ungodly talented and nobody is helping him out. He can't catch his own passes. He throws 2 passes on that final drive, which they had no business, quite frankly, probably moving the ball at all. Tyler Scott can't catch the ball. There's a Hail Mary that's run perfectly, and it's in Darnell Mooney's lap, and he can't catch the ball. He's getting no help from the coaches. He's getting no help from the wide receivers.
The Robert Tonyan, I mean, I cited it. People in the chat are citing 166 yards passing. He hits Robert Tonyan in stride, and that goes to the house. That's an 80, 60, 70, 80-yard touchdown pass.
Or even if he just sits down, it's 40 yards, and the throw was perfect, and it was going 1 mile an hour. Literally a 6-year-old should be able to catch that ball. If
a parachute was dropping.
I mean, even before the Tyler Scott skirt up the sideline, Darnell Mooney had a drop too.
They did to Adam's point. The Bears gave him very, very little to no help today, which was supremely disappointing. The Luke Getsy thing that I want to also underline that you said earlier, Braggs. Dude, stop getting in your own way. It's 4th and 1. The play is not Tyler Scott in motion to try to outsmart whatever defense, let alone the Browns led by Myles Garrett. That's not the play. The play is put the ball in your best player's hands. His name is Justin Fields, and let him find his way to a yard with some help behind him. And if that doesn't work, then you can go and rest your head on the pillow at night and say, no big, hey, I gave it to our best player. I asked our guys to make a play up front. They didn't do it. I can live with that. I don't know how you live with, I'm going to send Tyler Scott in motion and have him try to make a huge play that he hasn't made all game. Come on, man. That is not, we are not talking about difficult decisions here. And I understand that wasn't the only play in the game. There was a zillion of them. But, I just don't understand why he puts himself in that position, making ridiculous play calls at times.
There's a $200 super chat from the Duke.
Let's hear it.
That for some reason I let you go there, even though we should have interrupted you.
The Duke wanted to hear that moment.
The Duke, $200 super chat. What's up, Duke? Nothing is more dependable than the Duke.
Duke, we apologize.
When it comes to Bears football,
I was talking. The Duke was in the Bulls chat last night as well. I was trying to hype him up for today after the Bulls' ugly loss. Apparently, not helping.
The Duke says, and that's the end of meaningful Bears football in December. Welcome back to Draft Talk, Braggs. Defense tried, but it's hard for defense alone to win the game. Offense owes them a huge apology. We need Bowers and Marvin Harrison Jr. because Tonyan and Mooney suck harder than black holes. Wow.
That's just science.
But gravity.
Yes, gravity. Yes.
But he's not wrong. I mean, this is the people, trust me, people around the league understand what Cole Kmet has done this season. He's had to play 2 tight end positions at once because Robert Tonyan has given this team nothing. He really has. And go back and watch that play. Who made the key block that sealed the opportunity for Fields to get outside and launch that pass? It was Cole Kmet. So Cole Kmet can't block and run the route.
Right.
He would have caught the ball. He probably would have been open too. He can do both. But you need the other tight end in that situation all he has to do is catch the ball. And it's just infuriating. Or Justin. Can Justin they need to draw up a play where Justin throws it to himself.
I mean, he's fast.
They should work on that this week.
That'd
be a good idea.
It's inferior. All right, let's get to blame game. I
thought we just did. No, I'm kidding.
We just sort of went on random rants is what we did. I'll start. Darnell Mooney. It's hard to pin this thing down to one, but Darnell Mooney, he didn't block well today. He didn't catch well. I thought Fields threw a great ball to him on the sideline early in the game, and it's either Mooney couldn't win or he just wasn't expecting the ball. I don't know. I thought it was a great ball. I just thought all around that was just, especially in a game where DJ Moore was clearly limited and not 100%, someone else had to step up. Maybe you could just, I don't know if I'm taking yours, but essentially all the pass catchers besides DJ Moore and Cole Kmet. Like, just not enough help in general this entire game. Was Justin Fields perfect? No. He fumbled the ball again. I get it. He was holding on to the ball too long. Guys, I don't know how many times I have to tell you, that is the Justin Fields experience. And if you're going to keep him, you're going to have to live with that, but you're also getting all the amazing things he does. And the amazing things he does today could have added up to what? 100 more yards passing? If Tanyan catches the pass and Mooney catches the Hail Mary, and there were plenty of other, or Tyler Scott catches the other pat, like, just his stats, F the stats today, man. That's what I have to say about it. It's totally misleading to the game that Justin Fields really played.
Fields played way better than his numbers, and that decision is going to continue to be debated till it's made, and it's going to be a really tough one. My blame game, listen, give me the football. This thing,
we're not giving away game balls, by the way.
I know, but I'm just like
you could throw the ball.
The
if you
thing
want.
is, it's coming down like right here. You haven't done anything all season long to help, and I love you as a leader in the locker room. And you seem like a fine fellow, but 7 catches all season long. You haven't had multiple catches in a game since early in the season. Robert Tonyan, my man, that would have been a nice, great start to the football game momentum. I seem to remember you in a Green Bay uniform catching those and walking in the end zone, touchdown Packers. You haven't scored a touchdown all season long for the Bears, and I'm just not going to overthink it. I'm going to blame Robert Tonyan. That was a rough moment. Go ahead.
Yeah, my blame game goes to my good buddy Luke Getsy, who I've fired now 3 times this season because I'm firing you again today, Luke. You can go back to Green Bay or wherever you came from. I'm sure you're.
Last year at this time, for the record, Braggs was so worried that the offense, he needed the offense to implode so nobody would hire Luke Getsy as a head coach.
Yep.
But, times change.
The pendulum swings back to Luke Getsy being fired. And, yes, I'm sorry. At some point, you're repeating the same mistakes over and over, and it's the definition of insanity, and it's making me insane. These 4th and shorts, these 3rd and shorts, where you don't seem to understand. You're running to the short side of the field. You're doing sweeps with Tyler Scott. You're asking Darnell Mooney to be the edge blocker when Justin Fields is trying to get on the edge. You have this weapon in Justin. When you get down on the goal line, like Adam said, it took 5 tries and 3 penalties for you to finally find a miracle play that Justin Fields bails you out, breaks 3 tackles, makes an unbelievable scramble to the left side, and fires a strike to Cole Kmet. These are the things that are bailing. And if it wasn't for that, you don't get in the end zone today. And you can't seem to scheme up ways to get these guys in the best position to make plays. And if you want to blame some of that on the quarterback or the skill guys for not making plays and not executing, fine. But where I can see how you're doing as a coach is in situational moments, and more times than not this season, you make the same mistakes over and over and over again. Never mind the fact that I felt they got really conservative in the second half, have a 2-score lead, and you don't step on their throats. So sorry, Luke Getsy, you're my blame game, and you're fired. Get this ball out of my face.
Okay.
It feels like, or it felt like the Bears had a 10. How many possessions did they have the 10-point lead where they just didn't do anything?
I'd have to look, but
that goes back to that one. My brain keeps coming back to that literally shoestring tackle by Cam Mitchell on the 4th and 1.
It was a hell of a play.
It actually was a really good play design. Do you know who missed the block, though, there?
Darnell Mooney.
Darnell Mooney.
On the edge.
But still, it looked like he was going to have it easily, and it's still amazing he didn't. But, hey, there were a couple.
And then, how much criticism do you give? Because DJ Moore's streaking up the field, so he has the option to either run for the first down, which it seemed like he clearly had it until the shoestring tackle, or dump it to DJ Moore, and it probably goes for a touchdown. Do you grade Justin?
I honestly didn't notice that.
Yeah, he's wide open because everybody comes in on Justin, and if he just gives a little...
Well, if we're assuming he has the option to throw it, then he should have thrown it for a touchdown.
I mean, he was wide open. And that's what I mean. It's just it's run its course, ladies and gentlemen. With this chat, Twitter, social media, everybody just argues back and forth about, see, this is my evidence of why this is what we should do. At the end of the day, the clock's run out. They turn the sand, the hourglass, and the sand is run out on this. And we all wanted it to work out.
That being said, I hear you. They're going to win their next 2 games and probably still have some wild scenario in Week 18 where they're alive.
Yeah, that
could be.
That
could be, and I'll ride that wave emotional wave if we get there.
Because didn't a lot of things happen today that helped them? I mean, the Packers lost, the Falcons lost.
Well, and that's going to be
the Giants lost. I mean, there was a graphic Fox put up that if they win out, and it was like every other thing that was going the Bears' way on that graphic, except the Bears didn't take care of their own. And by the way, the second they put that up, I knew the Bears were going to lose the game.
Well, if you're going to make me do this, there was a scenario, 20% scenario possibility that if the Bears lose to the Browns and win out, they had a 20% chance of still making the playoffs because the one loss they could afford was to an AFC opponent, not any of the NFC opponents. But I'm not going there.
Here's another $200 super chat. Sorry, Carm.
Duke, thank you.
No apologies necessary. Duke takes...
Duke, you can keep paying $200, by the way, to not let Carm talk. We're not opposed to it. The Duke says, but honestly might need to replace Justin Fields. This statement isn't necessarily his fault, but not getting those late hit calls is hurting the team. F the refs as usual. If Getsy gets left behind like the worthless piece of Bears luggage it would be appropriate.
Jesus. I mean, who should have to stay in Cleveland one more night? It's a long list.
Another $20. That's all I have to say. I'm going to go smoke. This was the Duke.
Thanks, Duke.
I mean, I would not, if I was Matt Eberflus as a mode of leadership, I might not let myself on the plane either, but I wouldn't let Tyler, you're going to stay one more night here to think about it. So are you, Darnell. Robert Tunyon, one more night for you. Let's see.
Lucas Patrick, Nate Davis, Cody Whitehair.
Y'all, well.
The interior of that line was getting blown up all game long. And if they weren't getting blown up, they were getting called for holds. They had a tough day at the office. And Tevin Jenkins going out, concussion,
that
certainly
sucks.
hurt.
That sucks.
Lawrence is holding up his I never heard anybody say I'm going to Cleveland on vacation.
That's right.
Y'all are going to stay one more night, and think about what you did or did not do.
All right, I'll go on my rant, my ref rant.
Okay.
The ref rant.
Here comes the ref rant.
The ref rant.
I don't. Someone's getting fired, right? In the NFL offices.
Let's hear it.
I mean, if there's going to be accountability, if we're going to fire coaches for being terrible and players for being terrible, we just spent a whole week where the biggest story in the whole city was about how Justin Fields isn't getting calls. Players talked about it. The head coach finally talked about it. Justin Fields talked about it. I'm sure they sent in video for the 1,000th time this year. Justin Fields gets smoked on the Hail Mary. Way late. And they don't call it. So don't BS anybody anymore about player safety or protecting quarterbacks. I mean, to me, this goes all the way up to Troy Vincent. Troy, man, Badger to Badger here. Yo, love you. This is ridiculous, dude. This is absolutely ridiculous. How does this keep happening every single week? And by the way, this time it really mattered Because if they call that, the Bears are getting a field goal before halftime. And they get those 3 points. I do not understand how every single week this guy can get smoked in the head, in the neck, or just late in general, and they don't call it. He has 0 calls against him this year. Think about that. How many games do we watch every Sunday? Well, I can't believe they just called that roughing the passer. Can't believe they just called that late hit. Wow, that was a weak unnecessary roughness call. Wow, this is getting out of hand. Justin has 0. Fair or unfair? 0. How is that possible? It's because you guys aren't doing your jobs. Despite as much complaining, he doesn't get the call. So tell me where the accountability is, NFL. Roger Goodell, Troy Vincent, anyone.
Goodell in the stands.
Roger was there. Roger could have seen it with his own eyes today.
Roger had to come to see the Bears live to believe how the Bears have blown games that should have been in the playoffs. That would have been great for playoff TV ratings come playoff time, but somehow they're not going to make it. Great points, Hoge. Outstanding, and I hope that clip goes bananas. So let's just ask this question. I'm going to ask you both, and I'm going to stay out of it for a minute. How do you think Ryan Poles is going to look at today's game? How do you think he is digesting this right now, 24 hours from now, 72 hours from now when he's sitting there? What is his evaluation of a team that could have really literally fully leapfrog into the playoff race and doubled their wins from last year versus now sitting here with a whatever percent chance at 5-9 with 3 huge blown losses, which he could look at in one way like, okay, they're close, we're still building the roster, I know we're going to get over the hump, or for whatever reason, who I have in place right now, they just don't have that winning formula that I'm looking at.
I think that he's shown that he's cutthroat enough to make the hard decision. And what I think he's going to say is, yes, the defense has made progress. Yes, Justin Fields has made progress. Yes, this team is starting to turn the corner and the roster's starting to get turned over. But it's not good enough. And we want great. We don't just want better or above average or good. We want great. And that's what I'm going to do this offseason is make the decisions to get this team to great, not just better.
Yeah, I have a feeling actually that Ryan Poles is still feeling good about the overall direction, to be honest. I think he can look at this, and by the way, I think he has a reason to. I think he can look at this and say that he's built a pretty damn good, dominant defense that's taking the ball away, that's scoring now too, and that's a huge part of building a Super Bowl caliber team. And that still applies today. As tough of a loss as this is, that's still there. What I think you have to take away from today's game, though, if you're Ryan Poles, that you shouldn't be fooled by some recent flashes from your offense, and that you're going to have to make tough decisions here. My guess is he still feels really good about his head coach. As much as you guys don't want to hear that, my guess is he still feels like the overall direction and recent success that they've had, that yes, they are close. Yes, they're getting over the hump. I think he's going to look at this as, how do I fix this offense in the offseason? Whether that's change the offensive coordinator, whether that's change the quarterback, whether that's continue to add more pieces like Marvin Harrison Jr. potentially, and maybe Brock Bowers and free agent signings. Because you saw today, and it's by the way, the offensive line too was choppy at best today. Way too much interior pressure. There was one play late where they put, now Myles Garrett's unbelievable, I get it, but yeah, they had him triple teamed and they couldn't block him. So it's not like they're just done on the O-line either. You got to look for upgrades everywhere on offense. And by the way, you can't just look at the defense and be like, oh, we're set. Like, you got to keep building there too.
Yeah, but Matt Eberflus shouldn't get a pass for some of the situational plays that didn't work on offense. But if you want to just stick strictly to defense, the game-sealing throw, 4th and long. What was it? 4th and 14? 4th or 3rd and 14?
Are you talking about the one to Njoku?
Njoku up the sideline. What was it? 3rd and 14 or something?
It's 3rd and long. They blitzed.
And Jaquan Brisker on the edge, and they dropped Justin Jones in coverage to cover a tight end. And he gets burned because they can't get home. So that's,
Flacco made an unbelievable anticipatory throw on that.
Yeah, but it's about matchups, and you're putting
Njoku was 3 yards behind Justin Jones. I mean, that was a weird.
It was a layup throw.
It was a weird time for Flus to get ultra Flusy aggressive.
Oh, I think I'm thinking about the Cooper. I'm sorry. I'm talking about the Cooper
No,
touchdown.
yeah,
I'm sorry. We're on different plays here.
Yeah, we're going to the Njoku, and he blitzes Brisker on the edge, and he drops Justin Jones in coverage to cover a tight end in the most pivotal moment of your game. And it's like, okay, yeah, your defense has made progress, and you deserve credit for that. We've given him that here the last 2 weeks. Montez Sweat deserves a lot of credit for that as well, with his 6.5 sacks in 6 games since he's gotten here. So I think Ryan Poles is doing quite a bit to make sure this defense is going to the next level. Is Matt Eberflus doing enough? Because 2 games now, the Lions, if you even just forget the Denver game, because that was pre-Montez Sweat, the Lions game and the Cleveland game, you have those games in the bag. You have a defense that's thriving, and you piss down your leg and you lose those 2 games. And if not, you're holding the cards to the playoff race right now. And I'm sorry, even though there's progress being made, it's not good enough because the situational moments, you're pissing your pants.
Gary Ross is in the chat saying that Flus is actually taking accountability on that call right now.
That's
as he should.
Good for him.
Yeah, but he hasn't always done that.
Right. That's actually kind of stunning to hear that he is taking accountability, and we'll probably play some of that coming up. But that is, it was like he completely got outside of himself. Dude, that is not Patrick Mahomes, whatever. You don't want to blitz him either, but that's not like you can sit back on Joe Flacco. You've been in the passing lanes all day long. I will drop my best here and rush forward. They've been getting home enough. You don't need to go crazy here.
Yeah.
I was literally, if the Bears had won that game, because we were saying this defense is starting to remind me of the Lovie Smith era, the way they swarm around the football, the way they're opportunistic. They're leading the NFL in interceptions right now, and they've gotten the majority of those in the last 6 weeks since Montez Sweat has gotten here. I was ready to come on this postgame and apologize to Matt Eberflus for firing him in week 4 when we lost to Denver. Well, guess what? Denver happened again today, so you don't get the apology. And this is a cutthroat business. You have enough on this team to win games. Are you good enough to win a Super Bowl yet? No, but that doesn't mean that we can't grade these guys on a hard scale. And I'm sorry, the Cleveland Browns have a litany of injuries across the board, and they found a way to win. They brought a quarterback in off the street, and they're putting 400 yards of offense and moving the ball and winning games. So I don't want to hear this, well, this guy was out and that guy was out and this. I don't want to hear any of that. The excuse train ended last season when they had a ripped-down roster. You should be able to at least win 7 or 8 games with this team, and you're not going to because you screwed away like 3-4 games by the end of the year. And that's coaching.
Yeah, look, I'm not disagreeing with anything you're saying. I would also just say that it's just interesting that literally polls could look at it one of 2 ways, and I'm actually with Adam. I think he looks at it like the Flus has kept the locker room together. The Flus has his team right there. The roster is going to get just that much better. We're not quite ready to win yet. We've taken a positive step forward. We're showing signs of it. We're on the doorstep. We're going to get there. I know it. He speaks very confidently about it. I don't think he's walking out of Cleveland today thinking this coaching staff's got to go. I mean, maybe Luke, maybe. But I'm not even sure about that.
The thing about, well, here, let's table this for a second. We got to take our first break, but I have some thoughts on that. We are 34 minutes into this show. Thank you for everybody being here. If you're here for the first time, perhaps, please hit that subscribe button. Please join us here. We do Bears shows every single day as a group here at CHGO. We got all Chicago sports every single day covered for your individual team, whatever you root for. So please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button. Also, if you want to go a step beyond, text a link right now to the show to a Bears fan that you know. Say, hey, come join us. Tell them to hit the like button and subscribe as well. We appreciate everybody being here, watching this once again. Just a brutal loss and us reacting to it, but you know we're kind of used to it here on the show. So thank you very much. We also want you. Hopefully, we'll take a look at some of our sponsors too that help support us here at CHGO, and that includes Prize Picks, which is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. They are the easiest and most exciting way to play DFS. It's just you against the numbers. Instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks, you pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. With basketball season here, you can now pay attention to this because you can mix basketball with football. It's kind of fun. Pick combo projections across football and basketball from the Specials League. It's a league created specifically for combo projections that includes 2 or more players from different sports or leagues. For example, you could take DeMar Rosen and DJ Moore. So it'd be DeMar Rosen 3-pointers.
Rosen.
You drinking over there?
What did I say?
DeMar Rosen.
DeMar Rosen?
Josh Rosen.
The newest Jewish American, DeMar Rosen.
Oh, is he?
He was in Temple yesterday.
Happy Hanukkah.
Okay, good.
Happy Hanukkah to DeMar Rosen.
Well, maybe
Rosen,
you can pick DeMar Rosen too. DeMar DeRozan and DJ Moore. A lot of does in there. Trying to get that one out. You can do so it'll be 10.5 combo of 3-pointers made and receptions. So you can combine those if you want. Plus, they have quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types. That's what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. So go to prizepicks.com/CHGO. Use code CHGO for a first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/CHGO. Use code CHGO. Daily fantasy sports made easy.
That's right. And I want to tell you about Varsity Coolers.
Salt. HR.
Tell you about this awesome bag here. Team colors.
Best bag ever.
Got the vintage Bears stripes.
It's going to be so sweet next year when you have this bag and you bought it now because they're going to be headed to the Super Bowl.
Got the map on the backside. This is Varsity Coolers. You get 10% off if you use the code CHGO. Show them the flap. Flap it up.
Great flap.
Look at this flap.
Always show your flap.
Look at that flap. It's got the skyline in it. It's got hot dogs and pizza on the inside lining. Double insulated. You can use it as a travel duffel bag or a cooler.
Or a hat.
So it's a 2-in-1 or a hat.
Or to hide from the
If
Bears.
you just want to hide in your depression.
You sound like Eeyore right now.
Yeah.
Carm.
What's that?
You're like Eeyore.
It's waterproof. It's going to
hide
hold
from
that
the
ice in there
Bears.
good. Fits in a golf cart, so you can have 30 Goose Island beers in that cart.
30.
And drink it up. Drink all your Bears sorrows away. Perfect Christmas, Hanukkah, or holiday gift. 21 different teams represented, so they're perfect for any football fan in your life. Built to show up in style or party and rep the team in your town. Head over to varsitycoolers.us and use the code CHGO at checkout for 10% off your order.
Yeah, look at that. That's right where I lost it. Oh, right there is where the Bears Stadium won't be anymore.
Yeah.
Just don't do that.
And if you look on the outside of that map is where Lake Michigan is, and that's where I'm going to drive my car into once this show is over.
I'll come with you. All right. So I guess we got to go there. I mean, we don't have to, but yeah, let's do Tank Watch.
This is also depressing if you want
this
to
is the
feed into my depression even more.
So here's the problem with Tank Watch today. The Panthers won,
Good God.
Not good.
which you knew they were going to do.
Go to hell.
And I guess
right
if
now.
there was a week for them to win, this was a good one because they beat the Falcons, who the Bears also needed to lose. But that only mattered if the Bears also won.
Right.
And I think when this game went final, the Bears were still winning 17-7 or at least 17-10 at that point.
Right.
So, boy, what a double whammy that was to have Carolina win and then the Bears not take advantage of the only bright side of that happening at the same time.
Yep, things are getting interesting.
By the way, real quick,
Go
you
back to
can
it,
keep
please.
going, but Lawrence, can you pull up that Fox graphic too that I had seen?
Oh, yeah. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, thank you. Go ahead, Brax.
Is it an in the hunt graphic?
We're still in the hunt, buddy.
No, it's a
No, we're not.
path to the playoffs and how the Bears effed it up really bad.
Yes, they did. Yeah, so basically, if you want to pull that tankathon standings back up, Lawrence, just to kind of walk people through this.
You guys asking for all these graphics. It's
Yes,
very
sir. Well, you
exciting.
do such a great job
Thank
with
you.
these graphics. I want to show them off to all the live viewers watching here on YouTube. Got over 3,000
Jeez,
people
hit the
watching.
like
Please,
for these
yeah,
graphics,
hit
man,
that
they're
like
beautiful.
button for the great hard work Lawrence does on
Who
these
made
graphics.
those?
But it's not just about record; it's about strength of schedule. And so Carolina, right now, obviously with 2 wins, if they continue to lose out, Bears lock it in. Where it gets interesting is if both New England, the Bears, and Arizona all have 3 wins. And that's where you have to look at strength of schedule. Right now, Carolina has the lead in strength of schedule, lead meaning the lowest strength of schedule at 523 winning percentage. New England's at 524, and Arizona's at 553. Now, it's kind of complicated, and it'll change as the year progresses, as these last 3 weeks go. Essentially, you're rooting for the Bills right now. You're rooting for the Eagles tomorrow because you want the teams that Carolina played to win and New England's teams to lose. If I'm
No, you got that right.
Did I get that right?
Yes, 'cause
yeah,
you-
I didn't want to. So,
You want Carolina's team
right?
to
Maybe
lose.
it's the opposite.
You
I'm
want
sorry.
Carolina, whoever the Panthers played this year, you want them to lose games because that lowers the Panthers' strength of schedule.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I got it mixed up. So, it's still looking somewhat promising that the Carolina's strength of schedule will be lower than New England's and Arizona's here as the year goes on. So that means Carolina would have to win 2 more games in that scenario. But if New England were to hop it, then New England would get the number 1 pick. So things are certainly getting interesting, and Atlanta didn't make things easier on the Bears here today.
Well, and thank you, by the way, to the New Orleans Saints for keeping the Giants right with the Bears at 5-9 as the Saints took care of business today, 24-6. I don't know if you guys know who quarterbacks the
You're
Saints.
not doing this right now.
Derek Carr was 23 of 28 today with 3 touchdown passes. Carm, you're such an idiot. It's unbelievable. Guy went 23 of 28 at a quarterback rating of 134.
Oh, here we go.
Carman the moron on the show. Okay, now you can continue on.
All right. I'm just going to ignore that 20-second,
Yeah,
whatever that
okay.
was.
No.
Which, by the way, we experienced. That 20 seconds that you all just heard and witnessed on the show happened 6 times during the game today.
Yes.
Because this dude spent more time watching Derek Carr's stats than the Bears game.
Okay.
Is that wrong?
That is the
That-
other
that- yes,
aspect of
that-
it, though. If we just ignore his love for Derek Carr,
It's not a love. It's called,
All
it was a
right.
reasonable thing
Whatever
to say.
it is.
And everybody killed me for it.
the
and
other
I'm
end of the
bringing it up.
spectrum is now that you're not looking at playoff scenarios, if you're also looking at the Bears pick, their pick still is a top 5 pick, and it's sitting at number 5.
So they have 2 top 5 picks right? It's not the end of the world. Super Bowl 2024.
Right.
All right, I want to see this. This is so Fox put up a graphic in the middle of the game. Lawrence, so all credit to Fox for the scenario, for painting it out the way they did. This was in the middle of the game, so this is no longer valid. Just want to point that out. But the reason why I want to still show this is because a lot of the things the Bears needed besides winning out were happening. Need the Giants to lose a game. Carm Saints took care of that today. You need the Seahawks, the Rams, and the Vikings to all lose 2 games, which
Minnesota lost yesterday.
I'm not sure if that included Minnesota's loss yesterday or not. Right. But regardless, you needed 2 of Tampa, Atlanta, and New Orleans to lose 2 games. The Falcons and the Bucks both lost today. No, the Bucks won. So none of this was dependent on the Packers, huh?
I don't know.
Anyway.
Essentially, they needed a lot of
Anyways,
things
the
to
Bears
go their
fucked
way.
up and didn't win out. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Listen, they're still weirdly, somehow, mathematically alive. But how about this? We're going to go glass half full for just a second here, all right? Let's talk about glass half full. the defense is a legitimate NFL defense. And the defense is not old, and the defense should be getting even better in years to come as they add a piece or two. The defense, you actually can rely upon the defense to keep you in games. That is an enormous development, okay? So there's a positive. Bigger positive than that, let's just say that Carolina is going to Carolina the rest of the way here. Right now, you have the number 1 overall pick, and you've got the 5th overall pick, all right? Now, it would be sweet on a lot of levels if the Bears were winning games and learning how to win and whatnot. Instead, we're getting learning how to lose really painful games. But hopefully somewhere in there, they will process that as well and put that into the old piggy bank to not do it in the future, if you will. And then you end up with 2 super high picks that you can do a lot with. You can draft a quarterback. You can not draft a quarterback. You can draft a receiver. You can draft an impact. You can literally
trade back.
You could stockpile 1,000 picks for the future. You are setting yourself up for an extended run here. And so put all that in the positive category. Yes, it's painful now, but if we really want to live in reality for a second, sneaking in as the 7 seed and getting smoked in the first round of the playoffs to a better team right now, that's fun for the rest of the season, and it's great to be relevant, but it doesn't feel that great at the end. It really doesn't. What would feel great is if you have all these assets that you turn into an incredible haul that actually sets you up for sustained success, that we can be doing this year after year after year.
But that's also how you view Justin Fields, though, too, because like you're saying, it wouldn't, like making the playoffs and losing the first round would have been a waste of time to you. But to people that wanted to believe in Justin Fields' future with the Bears, had they went on a run, that would have upped the ante and the possibility that just because now if they decide to replace Justin Fields, you're using that pick on a quarterback and not a luxury of Marvin Harrison Jr.
Correct. That's correct. But I don't think you watch Justin Fields today and think that you saw anything from Fields today that you hadn't seen in the past. You knew, if you were paying attention, which I'm assuming if you're the general manager of the Bears that you are, that Justin Fields can be in the backfield, look like he's going to get tackled, going to go to the ground, know he's going to spin out of there, he's going to roll left hard and throw across his body a bullet to Cole Kmet. You knew that he could do that because he's done it before. You also knew that at times he's going to hold the ball way too long. You also knew that the people around him are going to drop balls and not give him enough help. You also knew that his offensive coordinator was going to go sideways at times. So listen, if they're thinking about keeping Fields, if that's what he wants to do, this shouldn't be something where you come out of this game like, no way, can't do that now after what I watched. So again, it's just going to come down to, does he think that you're getting a massive upgrade with Caleb? Does he think that that's a generational guy? Whether they won today or didn't win today, I would think you would still do the same thing in my mind. And so I don't think it changes anything. And instead, what you're doing is you're getting another super high pick.
Ricardo with a $50 super chat here. I also wanted them to win and try to make it to the playoffs, but I'm on Carm's mindset. Why be happy with a playoff loss to the 49ers and just be happy?
Right.
We need to build the roster like the 49ers. Yep.
And then get a QB draft trade.
Well, we don't know what Ryan Poles is going to do, and we're going to bang our heads against the wall all offseason trying to figure out what he's going to do at quarterback. If we want to stay on the positivity train, though, when you bring up Ryan Poles, Bob Jenkins with a positivity, while we're doing our positivity segment, said $50 super chat. Appreciate you, Bob. Live from the bar, post-game in Cleveland. Was at the game with Browns friends. Won't say anything negative. Browns fans kept telling me Bears will be a problem to deal with next year. Love you, boys. And we love you, Bob. And that was where I wanted to go with it. You brought it up, too, about, this defense starting to come together. And that is the big positive. Still a question mark on what they're going to do at head coach. Still a huge question mark on how they're going to, run an offense. Still a question mark on what they're going to do at quarterback. None of those are going to be answered anytime soon in the next few months until we get to the draft. The one thing I'll continue to be positive about is the way Ryan Poles is building this team. The number 1 pick and the trade that he made with the Panthers obviously being the cornerstone, the gemstone of what he's done so far. But Tyreek Stevenson with an unbelievable interception today. You traded for Montez Sweat, and he's a multiplier. He is making everyone better. I mean, DeMarcus Walker all of a sudden is making plays. Yannick Ngakoue, before he got hurt, was making plays. You drafted Jervon Dexter, got a lot of heat for that pick. He almost had a strip sack when him and Montez Sweat came together on a sack. He's looking great. You drafted Jaquan Brisker over George Pickens, took a lot of heat for that. Jaquan Brisker has been looking great lately, and if he can stay healthy, solid safety. You see what George Pickens is doing in Pittsburgh? Not wanting to block. Looks like the Steelers are going to probably try to trade him in the offseason. He's been so problematic with Pittsburgh. We're not giving you a second-round pick for George Pickens. Thank you very much. But to me, I see a lot of positive signs in the way Ryan Poles is building this roster. Now he's got the two biggest decisions of his life ahead of him here this offseason with head coach and quarterback, and we're just going to have to wait and see what he does.
All right, let's get some more super chats here.
KRX Ahern, who left it blank, but then he said, damn, effed up my first super chat purchase by not including a comment about Felix and Oscar and their matching sweatshirts. That's a good reference for Carm.
I don't get the reference. I don't like that.
He's calling you both grouches is how I'm hearing that.
Felix and Oscar from The Odd Couple.
First of all, not sure how to say your name. I was wearing this first. Didn't realize Braggs was wearing it until right now. So I'm taking it off.
Okay. Sorry. It's all right.
You want
You're
to do
great.
some more supers? Let's do some bigger ones. How about $30?
I'll give on the negative side. Tevin getting hurt today and getting concussed sucks.
Concussion, fine. If it was like a back injury or something, obviously I'm not.
He went down real awkward, man.
Concussion's fine.
Not fine.
Concussion's not fine.
I didn't say it was fine. I'm just saying.
Yes, you did.
I said concussion fine, not concussion is fine. What I'm trying to allude to is that when he got hurt, I thought it was like a back injury. Players get concussions. It's a violent sport. But the fact that it wasn't something that, tampers with what his future could be here is what was fine to me about that.
Concussions can do that too.
Solid angle, $30. Another blown game that should seal Flus, Getsy, and Fields' fate as gone next year. Whatever their positive qualities at the end of the day, they are losers. Mooney can also say goodbye to an extension. Time to move on.
This is an unfair comment. I'll say that. But the Mooney not making the play, how much do you think that is just sort of his...
He's probably still in his pads right now.
His karma of the year almost. Like he's just had this down year where...
To me, it's the karma of the Bears.
You can say that too.
Look. Let's get into crazy down here for a second. I apologize to Cubs fans because I now understand why y'all thought you had a curse. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not real, but how else do you explain some of this stuff that happens to the Bears? It's like there's a go look at that play again. The ball is not just in his hands; it's laying in his lap. It's like some force from above somehow sucked the ball out of his lap
if he had caught
against gravity to make that not be a touchdown. Like I don't know how else to explain it. It doesn't make any sense.
If he had caught that ball, they would have went crazy.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They probably would have never lost a game again the rest of our lives.
I completely agree. Do we have Mooney from the locker room, Lawrence?
No.
We do not?
No, we do not.
Why would you think we would have it?
Because he was searching on the Twitterscapes or the Slackscapes.
We're working on the Eberflus right now.
Okay.
Well, if we have a way to get Mooney, if Nick got that, let's turn that around as soon as possible. Michael, $20. We lost the game because of one word, drops. Tanyan, Taylor, Mooney, on and on and on. My entire emotional framework has dropped as well. Why do I do this to myself? I don't know, man.
Because we're fans. Like I said at the start of the show, I'm not going to apologize for getting my hopes up or envisioning scenarios of how they could win or predicting them to win 9 games. They had an avenue to do that. The difference between this, what could have been a 9-win team and what's going to be a 7-win team is the 3 games they pissed down their leg and should have won. And so I don't think it's unreasonable to have expectations, even if the team isn't world beaters. The whole league is filled with mediocrity and poor play and up and down week to week. And the Bears just always seem to be on the wrong end of it. And good coaching typically can get you on the other side of it, regardless of, elite quarterback play that all Bears fans constantly want to talk about. Coaching typically can be, are the Steelers a good team? No. Do they have a better record than the Bears? Yeah. What's the difference? Coaching.
But I guess here's my question to the people. So I understand all the frustration with Getsy today. What are people mad about at Flus over?
Well, like we said, that last play.
Okay, so one play when he's called basically 2 months of perfect defense now. Next question.
He's also the head coach, and I don't give him a pass for the situational failures on offense. On 4th and short, 3rd and short, goal line. I don't give him a pass for those things.
I'm not I agree with you. I'm not giving him a pass. But should he be fired over those when he has an offensive coordinator and he's a defensive background?
You're saying it so harshly, like I don't like has he shown improvement? Yeah. Is it good enough? No.
I agree.
That's it.
I agree. I think being in a hurry to fire Eberflus when he does, if you zoom out, seem to have this thing headed in the right direction. And we just saw that super chat from Browns fans. They're like, dude, you guys are coming. I know a lot of people that believe that. From the outside, there is a narrative. You're going to hear it very quickly, I think, once we get to this offseason. Yes, there's going to be a lot of chatter about Fields and what they should do, and there's going to be a lot of hot takes. There's going to be a lot of annoying takes, and just like there was last offseason. But behind all that, there's going to be a national narrative that the Bears are a scary team because of the progress that was made this year, because of how good that defense is, and because
they're adding.
If they have the number 1 pick, hopefully that still happens.
And a ton of money.
2 top 5 picks, maybe probably 2 top 10 picks at minimum, plus all the cap space. Regardless of what direction they go at quarterback, to me, it would be really hard to have that be the narrative and be like, oh, and by the way, they fired the head coach. You know what I mean? Like, if they decide to change offensive coordinators, fine. If they want to change the quarterback, fine. I think there's justifiable reasons to go down that path. But I would be worried about rushing to the conclusion that Flus should definitely still be fired. As weird, yes, I get the counter argument. They blew 3 games that they should have won. But
it's a team that was tanking last year that is trying to find their way in a very competitive NFL, and they're right on the doorstep. And instead of playing that through, you're going to cut it off. I get it. 100%.
Because if you go down the road of hiring Ben Johnson or something from the Lions, what's to say the defense, everything that they've built this defense on the last 2 years, doesn't go down the shitter? It probably will.
This to me is a very clear thing with both the quarterback and the head coach. You do not need to move on from either of them. You do not. If you think that you have an elite head coach that you can bring in here to do the David Ross, Rick Renteria, to go right ahead. I get it. 100%. Make the move. If you think you're getting a significant upgrade. If you think that Caleb Williams is the next biggest freaking thing on the planet, is going to be a stud, well, then I totally get it. But if you don't think that, then I'm not going to roll the dice on the quarterback. And if you don't think that, I'm not going to roll the dice on the head coach either.
And I'm with you. If they decide to keep Matt Eberflus and Justin Fields, there's going to be a lot of Bears fans that'll be upset. There will be people rioting in our chats. Bears Twitter might burn itself down. But I'm not going to be one of those people. If they decide to keep Matt Eberflus and Justin Fields, I'm going to roll with that decision because I trust Ryan Poles to make the best decision for this team. And that's something I keep asking Bears fans. Do you trust Ryan Poles? Because everybody's got these hardline opinions on what they should do. And every person that I talk to about this stuff, they say, yes, I trust Ryan Poles. Then I say, then allow him to make the decision and roll with it, and don't riot if he does something you didn't have as your prediction or opinion on what they should do.
Well, the Yahoo piece that came out this week by Charles Robinson, you all read that?
You're a Yahoo.
Yeah, I don't want to. Let's save that.
You're a Yahoo piece.
No. Let's save that because I don't want this to. I want this to be about the head coach right now and not the quarterback. We can get to that stuff though. But it's to final point on this, and then I want to hear from Matt Eberflus. I guess my overall point is, like, I'm not opposed to some change. Again, if you want to come down and be like, Jim Harbaugh wants the job and they're willing to pay him $12 million a year to best the Michigan offer, and okay, like, I think there's reasons to do that. But if you just want Matt Eberflus fired because they blew 3 very winnable games, I think that totally is too reactionary and ignores the overall progress. Because while we all did want to see more wins this year, the whole point of this season was figure out if the quarterback's, your guy or not. And that's, again, we'll get to that discussion. And B, just see progress. They could still finish with 7 wins here. 8 is now the max, but they have 2 very winnable games coming up at home. And 7 to 10 was always the range we talked about for this season. So I get it. Like, am I closing the door to some type of upgrade? No, but I think we're ignoring the overall progress if we're just like, I need heads to roll because they lost to the Broncos, Lions, and Browns. I just think that's too reactionary, not how this whole thing works. All right, let's hear from Matt Eberflus, who spoke in Cleveland, and who knows how this press conference went. I'm very interested to hear it. Here you go.
Injury update, so you guys see that Tevin was in concussion protocol, so we'll have to go through that with him, and hopefully he's going to be okay. I'm obviously disappointed in the loss, for the guys in the locker room. Certainly the battle was on. They certainly were battling. And, I told them what my main message was to them after the game was this, is that, hey, you always fix your mind and fix your focus on the fundamentals and details of your position, and that's what wins football games. And that's been our mantra the whole time. And then we also fix our mind on the plays we're going to make, being playmakers. And at the end of the day, the Cleveland Browns made more plays down the end than we did. And our guys made a lot of them out there today, but certainly that's what happened at the very end. And so get back to work tomorrow. That'll be the focus. And, the guys will have their eyes forward. I know it stings and it's going to sting, and having this loss is always hard. But just to recap the game, obviously we started the game, with a bunch of punts on both sides, and that was the whole first quarter pretty much, and then we, did a pretty good job there, had a nice interception by Eddie, that set up a good score. Took us, there's a bunch of penalties and a bunch of things that happened down there. Cole jumped off sides, but then he redeemed himself with that touchdown. What a nice catch he had on the side there with Justin scrambling on the 3rd and 6. That was really, really a nice play there. And then, we took it to half there. But, I thought the one touchdown they had, we had some missed stops on defense, and my hat's off to them. Certainly that's to score a touchdown, you got to make some plays. But, we had some opportunities there to make a couple interceptions. I think TJ May had one of them, and I think maybe one was a really good break by Jalen. Did an awesome job there. We just got to come down with that when it was in traffic, and then they had a big play on us on a scramble. They got into a max protection, and they got into a scramble deal, and then Tyreek's just got to be on top of that. That's a scramble drill, so they got a big play on that one. So we got to do a good job with that. Then at the end of the half, we got it down, to field goal, right outside of field goal range, and that was going into the wind, and that was just too far of a kick for us to make that attempt there. That's how we end up throwing it to the end zone, and we have to do a good job of, obviously protecting our quarterback on that one. There was a couple steps there with the hit. But again, we'll look at that one and on that. So that was the first half. Coming out the second half, obviously the big return, interception return, really nice by our guy there, Tremaine. Unbelievable, So tipped, focus, concentration, taking up the numbers, really good return right there. An excellent job. Then we end up answering with a field goal there. The next drive, I thought that was a really good drive. Nice job on that. So we end up going up 10, up in the third quarter. And then we got to really do a good job of, in sudden change. We had the muff punt on the one, and we've been working on that during practice, offense and defense of a sudden change and momentum. And I thought Tyreek made a heck of a play on that. So you're put in a bad position for your defense there, and he made a heck of a play. And what an interception and really good return to dig it out of there too. So I was excited about that too. Then we, go to the fourth quarter, and, the fourth quarter to me is all about finishing. We got to finish the right way. We end up giving up a big pass on defense, the one where we held them to a field goal. And again, I got to make a better call. They had a penalty there. I ended up calling a coverage, which I could do a better job with that. Cover two would have been a great call there, but again, they got over top of us with a fast receiver, and they got behind us. But my credit off to the guys for doing a great job of holding them there. They did a really good job. Again, that's momentum too, right? How do you handle sudden change there? Did a really nice job with that. And then overall, we just got to do a good job putting drives together, in the fourth quarter on offense. So we got to have some sustained drives there to get in scoring position. And we're always behind. They either TFL or they got us behind. They seem to have a lot of third and longs in the fourth quarter there. So that we have to do a better job there for sure. But at the end of the game, I love the way our guys battled at the end. And what a nice play by T. Scott, to put us in position. And again, we were just too far back for we ended up throwing the Hail Mary at the end, and we had a chance there too. It's just about focus and concentration at the very end and making a really good play. But the guys are disappointed. You can certainly see the fight, and you can certainly see the guys are improving. We're improving as we go, and that was a good football team we played today. There's a lot of good pass rushers. They put some pressure on us. Obviously, an experienced quarterback, and my hat's off to Cleveland for the win. But again, we're disappointed in the loss.
Man, in their final drive at 3rd and 15, and you guys ran a pressure. Can you walk through the thought process on that pressure and then what you saw?
Yeah. So the thought process there is it's 3rd and 15, and you're gonna make them throw it, and you're gonna tackle the catch, and then they're gonna end up punting it, and they'll maybe get half the distance there, just to get the ball out of his hands fast. And he kind of retreated back a little bit, and I got to look at the pressure and see where it was, but he ended up retreating there and throwing it over top, and the tight end made a heck of a run and got it. So again, that was the whole thought process there.
With the nearest guy in coverage there being Justin Jones there.
Yeah. So it's a sim pressure, right? You're simulating there, and he's the one guy dropping back. But typically that pressure is going to hit, and the ball is going to be out quicker than what it was. Like I said, he retreated back a little bit, and so that's what it was. That's what I saw on the field.
Now, what do you identify as the problems in blowing these late leads? This is the third time, at least this season, unless I'm missing one, that you guys have had a significant lead in the fourth quarter and had this happen.
Yeah, I'll just go back to what I said. It comes down to the fundamentals. When you watch the tape and look at it, it'll be that, and it'll be about playmaking. We got to make the plays down the stretch, and that's what it's always going to be about. We finished, last week. We had good fundamentals, and we finished down the stretch. We made sacks, we made interceptions. We drove the ball, had 4 minutes. We did a good job on all areas and finished the game out the right way. And the NFL is always going to be that. It's got to play to the last second. And again, like I said, I'm proud of our guys. At the last second, we had a chance to win it, and that's much improved. And we're going to cash in on those coming up.
On that subject, Darnell Mooney said in the locker room that he felt like in the third quarter the offensive players were complacent. His word was comfortable, and he was thinking in his head, we cannot be too comfortable with this, especially given the other games that you guys have had that went this way. Did you detect any of that, and how is that possible when you guys have been through what you have this season? Yeah,
comfortable. I don't know how you're comfortable in the middle of a football game. First of all, you got to be
comfortable with the lead.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. So I would just say, again, can't speak for Mooney, but I would just say our guys were wired in. They were focused, and we were going for the win. And it's unfortunate we didn't get it.
Your offense today had one touchdown drive, and it was 1 yard. 2 games ago, you're in Minnesota. You have no touchdown.
That was a hell of an opening statement from
a 5-minute filibuster.
It was like
went
a
through
podcast.
the whole game. I'm actually really impressed he can remember every single thing like that. That was all right. Well, a couple things. Dare I say Matt Eberflus is getting better with these. Good job taking accountability for the third down call that you guys were talking about earlier. And also not only that, but explaining what his thought process was. I get the thought process. You're trying to get pressure, get the ball out, and then come in and swarm and tackle. And that was, for the most part today, I thought the Bears defense, they were swarming. But you got to remember, you're playing a really good, let me rephrase, a really experienced quarterback who's no longer really good, but certainly made enough plays today. And he just gave that little extra second to get the ball over the top and beat you there. And by the way, that happens. You know, I don't know if you guys know how football works, but there's a play every 40 seconds or so, and usually what happens is one of the teams has success and then the other one doesn't. They win each rep, and sometimes you're going to be wrong.
You want to hear Justin Jones's perspective on that play?
Sure. Is it I shouldn't be in coverage?
Nicholas Moreano reporting from the locker room. I asked Justin Jones about the 2 plays when he dropped back in coverage, and this was the quote from Justin Jones. I'm just doing what the play call is. Maybe I could have seen him, what he was doing. I probably could have got back a little more. I don't know. Probably play his low hip in that route. Maybe got a pass breakup. I could have got a little deeper in my drop, sat under it or something. It's not what I practice. Then he was asked, how many times have you practiced dropping back leading up to this game? And he said, I couldn't tell you, brother.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. I'm glad that you brought that up because Justin, it's very rare, and I'm not saying that locker room isn't with Coach Flus, because I think the Flus does have some significant support in that locker room. But little hints of that's not the first time that Justin has done that, on the record and off the record. So, and the off the record is me kind of reading it, reading into it. And you don't even, right.
Yeah, I don't really.
It's not even clear.
I don't think he's calling out the coach in there. I think he's just being honest and saying, we don't practice that a lot. I'm not used to dropping back.
I think it's a slight call out.
Well, it's a little bit of defending himself, I think.
It could be just that too.
Yeah, but I don't practice that a lot, nor should he be like in tune with the techniques of how to cover a tight end out of
Let's do it a different way. Forget about the call out. That's just underlining that the call.
It was a bad call.
Was it not a good one?
It was a bad call. Matty Eberflus has had a great year calling this defense. He lost that rep, and it was a big one, no doubt about it. And he took accountability for it.
You can't lose that on 3rd and 15. You cannot lose that rep. I understand teams it's 3rd and 15. You're about to get off the field. Game's going to head to overtime more than likely. You cannot lose that down. And so many times, again, when you want to talk about criticism towards Eberflus, 3rd and longs this year have been a devil for them. And that is situational once again. And it's that's another grade when you go through the whole season, and it's just something that time and again has been a problem. They cannot get off the field on 3rd and long. I feel like I've been saying that for 20 years, and maybe that's a problem with the cover 2 defense at times, but that's another big mark against him is these 3rd and long situations where they have to get off the field.
No question. It was a big L. It was a big L in that game. Absolutely. There's too many of them. I also think he's extremely right about just the lack of plays that were made today. I mean, the Browns made more plays, and the Bears didn't. They dropped the ball, and quite frankly, even his defense missed some opportunities. As good as the defense was, like he called out Jalen Johnson, could have caught that really tough interception. It would have been one of the best interceptions of the year.
Edwards had
but he
one go
didn't
right
make the
through
play.
his hands.
Weren't both of those on that one drive? Weren't both those
Same
on that touchdown
and then
drive?
they scored, yes.
Yeah. So it's.
But I mean, they had 3 interceptions. They only gave up 17 points until the end where they gave up the field goal to lose it. Like,
I'm not blaming the defense, but he is also correct in being like, there's probably most of the time you look at close games and you're like, there's 3 or 4 plays that could have gone either way. Like, I feel like there were 10 in this game that the Bears missed. Whether it was those 2 interceptions that were dropped, at least 3 or 4 balls that were dropped by the offensive players. How about your punter? Can the punter make a play? Like, I'm being serious. Like, can your punter help you at all with field possession? Pin the Browns back one time. It's unbelievable.
The biggest thing, though, that he said to me, and I'm wondering if it's echoed, which is the conversation we're having with upper management, we are close. We're right there. We had a chance to win the game. That is good. That is progress. That is how Flus is looking at this. They are moving in the right direction. They are getting there. These losses are part of the process, and he is completely confident, seemingly, that they are going to get over the hump and that this is just something that they have to go through. Now, is that shared by his boss?
The progress, though, is by individual personnel. It's not in the win column. How many wins did they have last year? 3 or 4? I forget.
They had 3.
They had 3. They have 5 this year.
That's more than 3.
Wow.
Yeah,
I mean, for the difference in roster between this year and last year, like to call that progress, I mean, that's a low bar. You're the one, Hoge, that always talks about, having higher expectations around here, and I certainly hope Ryan Poles has higher expectations.
Well, how many? I hear what you're saying, but how many teams in the NFL are going to improve by? Let's say they finish 7-10. They're going to improve by 4 wins this year. How many?
If they
teams?
get 7 wins, I'll shut up. But if they have less than 7 wins, and I said this before the season, then that's a disappointment.
All right,
And
I like the super chat from Alex, $20. He says, "Were you a Bears fan between 2008 and 2023? You may be entitled to financial compensation." Why do I even bother?
The Bears are like
mesothelioma. Yeah,
That's so good.
yeah. Did you use Roundup between the years of blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah?
Did you drive an Uber between Tuesday and Thursday in 2021? Then you might be a part of this lawsuit.
It's 9:00 at night. Do you know where your Bears fan husband is?
Did you?
He's in Lake Michigan.
Did you?
Drowning in his car.
Did you have Ray Scarpelli tell you to not play Jordan Addison this week?
Oh,
Okay.
Ray.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
Hey, Ray. No, we love our partners with Ray Chevrolet. And this is where Ray's the best. They are having their biggest sale of the year right now. Make your way to Ray Chevrolet on Route 12 in Fox Lake to join in on the savings for their model year-end sales event. As one of the top-selling Chevy dealers in the Midwest, you'll always be able to shop one of Chicagoland's largest Chevy inventories. But right now, they're trying to make room for incoming 2024 models, so all their current inventory must go. Plus, you can find the perfect tailgate vehicle at Ray Chevy because they have over 100 new Silverados in stock. Silverado's a great truck. I had one for 3 years. Miss it. And that's not all. Get 0% financing with $0 down and 0 payments. Wait, let me repeat that again because that was a lot of zeros in a good way. 0% financing, $0 down, and 0 payments until spring 2024. Or you can save over $3,000 on a new Chevy Blazer, $4,000 on an Equinox, or over $10,000 on a Silverado right now. And to top it all off, Ray Chevy is pricing over 125 vehicles under $20,000 right now. Seriously, guys, the pricing can't get more affordable than right now. We love Ray Chevrolet. That's where I go to get my cars. Go check them out. And even if you're not looking to buy a car, do you like free things?
Love a nice free thing like an oil
Nick
change.
Moreano does.
Nick loves free. Carm loves free. I love free. Braggs likes to pay for things. He's weird. But right now, Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake, a free oil change is available to you. All you need to do is mention CHGO when scheduling your oil change. You can do it online or on the phone. Just mention CHGO. You better hurry because this exclusive offer ends December 31st, 2023. Visit Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or raychevrolet.com to get your model year-end savings. They've been serving the community since 1963. Find new roads.
And it is getting easier for businesses to switch to electric vehicles.
Is it?
It is, Gregory. That's something that we can all get behind for the health of the planet and for the well-being of all of us who share it. Greg.
That's right, Carm. I'm looking for some well-being. I'm not well right now, but the electric grid is evolving to meet your cleaner energy needs as we all move with confidence towards an electric tomorrow. Whether you have one delivery van or a whole fleet of shipping trucks, ComEd can help guide you to make changes that make sense.
So, Greg,
Yes.
with that in mind, what should business owners do?
Well, they should go to ComEd.com/clean to learn more about the resources, fleet rebates, and infrastructure incentives available to help businesses go electric. If you own a business, don't wait. Start making your plan today to switch to electric vehicles. Good for businesses, good for planet, good for all of us. Go to ComEd.com/clean. What did I do?
You left out the good for the planet.
Good
You
for
said
planet.
Good for planet.
Good for planet.
It's good for planet.
Good.
Hey,
My daughter has
I love lamp.
stars that project.
hang on.
To courtesy of ComEd, by the way. No, I know, but so there's stars, and then there's a moon, and there's a planet, and then she'll just be like, touch moon,
Yeah.
touch planet. That's what that reminded
Good
me
for
of.
planet.
Good for planet.
Good for planet. By the way, did you say ComEd.com/clean?
Yes, I did. I also said good for planet. So go now and see how going electric connects us to a better way of doing business and a better future for generations to come.
ComEd.com/clean. Check it out.
You can even drive that electric car right into Lake Michigan.
And take Robert Tunyon with you.
Our guy Nicholas Moreano talked to Darnell Mooney in the locker room. Here's what Darnell Mooney had to say after the game.
Feel like it was Hail Mary. Tried to tip it and then hold on to it. Hit my chest before I could. I was already falling, so tough. It would have been crazy, but definitely tough to. How many times do you see a Hail Mary working and actually falling to, being able to make a catch? But it's tough. I wish I could have had it, but I mean, it is what it is.
Is the approach that you throw it up and somebody try and tip it forward, or is that just what happened?
Say it again.
What was that the plan? To
No.
try and tip it forward, or it's just what
it is. Always you have somebody that catch it, and it was cold. The biggest guy on the field was trying to catch it, and we're just guys just boxing each other out, boxing everybody else out, so you can just somebody just catch it. We just ricocheted off and tried to tip it and try to catch it.
When it bounced off your chest, did you have any hand or arm or how much of a containment did you have on it?
The only thing I felt was when I'm falling and I just tipped it up and then I thought I was able to grab it and then hit the ground. So just a difficult catch and just didn't work out.
You sat there in the end zone for a little bit after. What was your feeling at that moment?
Just dang, that would have been crazy if that would have happened. I mean, if I could have held on to it, but it was just wow, it's crazy.
Did you go to the city player?
I did. I just seen it. Everybody's killing it right now, but I mean, it was just a difficult catch. Hard catch.
Darnell, for someone who's been waiting for their opportunity and moment to come, for everything to work out, for that ball to find you in that moment and not to come through, what's kind of the emotions?
I'm fine. That's not that's a Hail Mary. It's nothing targeted for me. It just ricocheted, and I just happened to be the guy in the position right there to try to get the ball. Like I said, it's a wild play. It could have been crazy. I wish I wasn't falling. It would have been easier to catch it, but it's unfortunate. Shouldn't have to come down to those things just to throw the ball up in the air and just make something work. But it's an unfortunate thing that I wasn't able to hold on to.
You had a lot of good 8 targets as you come your way today. I mean, did it feel like the timing between you and Justin was just a little off? I know in that Newsom, when he nearly intercepted it, looked like the ball. Was there a miscommunication on that, where the ball was supposed to go versus where your route was?
I'm gonna have to look at the film and see exactly what happened. I don't know if he got hit or anything, but I just know I'm coming back in. So I don't know what.
All right, there's Darnell Mooney. I don't know what to say. I agree with him that it's not the easiest play in the world.
I love Darnell. He's one of my favorite people in the locker room. I don't mean to cut you off. I just wish he would have just said, I should have caught it, period.
I guess that's what I kind of am quibbling with a little bit. I get what he's saying. It's a Hail Mary. It's always just however the ball bounces, and you just got to get a little lucky. But, dude, it's your job to catch it, though, when you do get the lucky bounce and there's no one around you. And there's a reason why teams practice this over and over again every single week. They wouldn't practice it if they just thought it was a completely, F it. It's just completely up to luck. They wouldn't waste reps on it.
I mean, I really should have caught the one last year against the Commanders that we would have won that game. But, after that game, we actually came back and the whole offense changed, and that was kind of cool. And Justin took off. So I should have had that one. And then this one, I could have had it. But come on, man.
I don't know. That's a tough one because Mooney does everything right. He never complains.
He's the best.
There's a
dude.
lot of reasons to love Darnell Mooney, but we've gone from talking about this guy as a potential number one wide receiver to like he's barely involved. And when you get opportunities like that, like you can't. I don't know. I guess it's just maybe I'm being too harsh on it, but it being a Hail Mary to me is not just enough to shrug it off.
I thought about betting Montez Sweat today over 0.75 sacks. I didn't do it. Thought about betting Roschon Johnson today over 9.5 yards. I didn't do it. I bet Mooney 22 yards. He should have had 122 yards. He drops the one in the end zone. He didn't come back to the ball a bunch of times on balls that he should have had. Him and Justin,
they don't seem they're on the same page at all.
It's just bizarre. They've like literally traveled across the U.S. throwing balls in different states. These guys have like.
I mean, how many stories have we read and heard about them practicing late at night at 10 o'clock at the Walter Payton Center?
Right.
And
they're in Atlanta. They went to Carolina. Oh my God, they're in Florida.
There's no chemistry between them at all. I don't understand it.
I mean, had a 1,000-yard season. He's going to go up from here. I always said he was a 3. Darnell's a 3, a really good 3. That's what he should be. Maybe that's what he'll be next year on the Chiefs on a 1-year deal or wherever. But he's not playing like a 3.
Well, and we've heard, like, we know that Darnell Mooney and Justin Fields have chemistry between the two of them. But I think what's happened is Darnell Mooney's role on this offense has caused him to be up and down with his play. And the chemistry isn't there because of that. And I don't think likes his role on the offense as far as being this blocking wide receiver. They ask him to block on the edge and block for screen passes for wide receivers. And then a lot of the throws that they make for Darnell Mooney or plays they draw up for him are screens where he's getting laid out. And so then they ask him to run, a route, and then he's finally getting a ball downfield, and either Justin overthrows him like he did last week or a couple weeks ago, whatever that was, or Mooney's dropping it, and they can't seem to find that rhythm because I don't think Darnell Mooney's necessarily that happy in the Luke Getsy system, personally.
I'm not trying to, give excuses or whatever, but, like, Chase Claypool did not work out here. Chase Claypool is sunning in Miami. You need a number 2 wide receiver. Like, he should be having all the opportunities to have big games, and for whatever reason, it just hasn't happened.
Chase Claypool also said he didn't like the way he was being used in this offense, and I understand he's a malcontent who's now on his 3rd team, but I'm just saying, like, we've seen this pattern here a couple times where it seems like guys aren't loving.
Yeah, but something's missing here with Mooney. He's been here. He's been in the offense from the start. He was in the past. He's worked with Justin Fields for years. He's good enough. We know that. We've seen him go for 1,000 yards. And to me, there's no reason why he can't be producing more than what we've seen this season, especially when there's a guy like DJ Moore on the field at the same time. It's very, very confusing. We'll talk to Nicholas Moreano here in a couple minutes. But let's see. We should probably get the quarterback in here as well.
Just real quick, I want to hit these 2 supers. We don't have to talk about them, but Ian Hamilton sent us $5. He said, when's the last time Mooney did anything? His decline from wide receiver 1 is epic. He can't do anything, even with the focus on DJ, Marvin Harrison Jr. all the way, and then John Davis, $10. He says, that answer sucked for Mooney. I don't care it's hard. You make millions to catch. Catch it. I don't care how hard it is. You had a chance to win the game. Marvin Harrison Jr. sure as hell would have. Brutal answer. He gone. But yes, we can get to Justin if you want.
Yeah, Justin Fields at the podium. Postgame, tough one for him. Stats certainly not good. I think we all agree he should have been helped a lot more, and his numbers would have looked a lot better. Then again, not a perfect game. Sort of the Justin Fields experience, but here he is after the game.
Darnell was saying a lot that he didn't understand why people have questions about the quarterback of the team going forward. I was wondering, do you have an opinion? Why do you think people have questions about that?
People question a lot of stuff, but, that's not my problem. So I just, come to work, do my job as best as I can, and that's it. So, yeah.
What's your point of view? Oh, go ahead, Dave.
On the final pass of the game, just kind of what was your vision on the way that ball got kicked up and almost caught there on the Hail Mary?
What was my vision? I mean, I was just, me personally, on a Hail Mary like that, you just want to, buy as much time for your guys to be able to get down there in position to, get a chance to catch the ball and, put some air on it to, maybe get a tip or, DBs aren't the best at tracking balls. So, the biggest thing is just give my guys a chance. And, we almost came out with a catch. So, I mean, that's all you can really do.
For that split second, you think Mooney's got it there?
I heard some celebration on the sideline, and then it was kind of like, so I saw the guy come out and tipped up and then picked off, of course. But, I mean, yeah, I can't do anything about it. So.
On the Hail Mary at the end of the first half, looked like you were having a pretty good conversation with the official afterwards. You feel like you were hit late?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I felt like I was. I really was just talking to him. I asked him, for an explanation. Gave me a detailed explanation. Said I think it has to be he said something about a hit to the head and something about resetting. It was kind of confusing to me, but I was just my fault. It was kind of confusing to me, but I mean, play's over. Can't do anything about it. Move on. So yeah.
What do you identify as what was missing or off with the offense today?
Yeah, I mean, first off, defense played a hell of a game. I'm not sure if they could have played any better for us as a team. First off, I got to play better as the quarterback of this team, and I think we all got to be better on offense. Of course, their D-line, they have a great D-line, great rush. So I know the guys up front, wish they would have had a few plays back. Receivers, wish they would have had a few plays back. But, I mean, it's simple. We just got to be better. I got to be better. And run game going. We didn't really get that going today. So, run game is important in our offense. And like I said, I got to be better as a quarterback for this team. We got to get that last completion of Moon at the end of the first half. That would have been big. To set us up for a field goal going into the half. And, long story short, I got to be better. We got to be better as a whole.
Mooney said that he felt the offense felt a little comfortable in the third quarter with the lead. Did you sense that same sort of feeling?
Not really. I kind of think of it as, me personally, I wasn't feeling comfortable. I don't know how the other guys were feeling. I don't know how he was feeling. But, I try to put up at least 28 points as an offense today. So, defense got a pick six at that point. We only put up 7 or 10 points. I'm not sure. So my goal as a quarterback, our goal as an offense is to at least put up 28 points a game. And, with the way our defense is playing now, that's usually more than enough points. So, like I said, we got to be better.
What does the Browns defense do that makes life difficult?
And the thing about that, too, with the points, their only touchdown came when they got the ball at the 2-yard line. And they needed 3 penalties from the Browns in a row, and still it took some crazy play by Justin Fields that I don't think any other quarterback in the league could make to score.
Right.
And it shouldn't be that hard.
No.
It just shouldn't be that hard.
I mean, the Browns had given up somewhere around or over 30 points in 4 of their last 5 games. Do they have a good defense or guys that compete on the outside? Greg Newsome, some of the Northwestern Wildcats out there making plays today? Sure, but they're not this unstoppable force. Was it raining, for most of the game? That definitely, can be a variable that makes offenses hard to operate in. Yeah, but at the end of the day, it should not be this hard. And you get on the goal line off what was almost a pick six, and like you said, it takes 6 plays to get in the end zone even then.
Just doing some Fields numbers on the fly here. And again, tough decision. We've talked about it ad nauseum. We'll continue to talk about it. Right now, he's on pace. I see we got Nick there. He's on pace for 2,353 yards if he does what he's done in the games that he's played so far, which is averaging 181 a game. 6 games over 200, 4 games under.
Nick looked like he had a heart attack right when you said that. Let's bring him in. Nicholas Moreano had the pleasure to be in rainy, cold Cleveland today covering a spectacular Bears loss. Nick, I don't know, man. Just give us, before we get into the locker room, just your take, your view from the press box, how you took this one in, because it was a crazy, wild one, and unfortunately the Bears on the wrong side again.
Yeah, it was a Bears game, right? You guys, it really was. It keeps you entertained all the way through the end and until the final play where you think the Bears legitimately have a shot to win on that Hail Mary. But it was just a Bears team that couldn't capitalize off of a great defensive performance for really, I would say, 3 quarters. And then the fourth quarter, there were some explosive plays. But the offense just did not come to play today. And what I don't, and you guys are kind of talking about it, like this Browns defense had given up points, and Matt Eberflus goes on to talk about, was asked about like why the offense wasn't there. He's like, credit the defense, they have good players, can get pressure. It's like, but other teams have had success. So it was just really disappointing from the offensive performance. There are obviously missed plays. You think of the Robert Tonyan touchdown, and that should have been but wasn't, and just overall execution. There was no, and I get it from them. They did not want to attack the interior of this Browns defense when it came to short yardage plays, but the things on the perimeter weren't working either. So it was interesting just to kind of watch how they game planned it and things like that. But ultimately, a very disappointing loss and a very disappointing locker room, you guys.
Richard Budnick, $5 super chat, is asking you to drive down to Columbus because he needs a drinking buddy right now.
Wow, I've been pretty good this week with not having any drinks, but after this game, I think, just shoot me where you're at. We can maybe make this happen before I have to get in a flight in about like 2 hours. So that might complicate things.
Yeah, I don't know how you get to Columbus and back to Cleveland to get on your flight in 2 hours, but also in general, I recommend people stay out of Columbus, but that's just my personal.
I think you should cancel your flight, go to Columbus, be with Bud Nick, and report back how it went.
Nick, one quick question again before you get to the locker room and something we've been talking about, because you talk about the Robert Tonyan drop. Obviously, Darnell Mooney drops the touchdown, a Hail Mary. But there were other drops. Tyler Scott right before that trying to get into field goal range. Luke Getsy has some questionable play calls. And then once you start to kind of get in the weeds of what went wrong on offense, it sounds like you're making excuses for Justin Fields. Do you think that Justin Fields played well enough to win this game?
It's a good question, Greg, and I think obviously the one touchdown they got offensively was all because of him, but there were opportunities dropped, but he also put the ball in some dangerous spots. He didn't lose the fumble, but he put the ball on the ground on a sack. You know what? To be completely honest, Greg, I would need to definitely rewatch it. I came away from this game just wondering, like, how I know Tevin Jenkins went down, but the Browns are down some players on their defensive line, yet there's pressure on, consistently on Justin Fields. He doesn't have time to drop back and really able to deliver the ball the way he wants to. There was one play where he's talking to where he had an opportunity with Darnell Mooney. They had talked previously about how now Mooney was going to do an inside release on a certain play, but because of the pressure, Fields almost had to guess where to throw it because he didn't have time to execute the play to its entirety. So I think right now I would say yes, he did play well enough to win this game, but there's definitely opportunity. It's a Justin Fields roller coaster that we've been riding all season where, he makes a spectacular play, he puts the ball in jeopardy, and, we just go through this entire cycle.
By the way, real quick, before this thought leaves my head, the Bears running backs have been terrible blocking lately. And I think it's gotten worse since David Walker got fired. I'm just pointing that out. And that's obviously there are reasons for that, and he should have been fired. But it's just that to me has been somewhat of an issue all season and has gotten worse. So I don't know if they're doing different drills or there's just not enough emphasis on it. I have no idea because we don't get enough time to watch practice this time of year. But just it's gotten considerably worse in my opinion. We saw your tweet. We read it earlier of what Justin Jones had to say about dropping back into coverage on that third down. I want to hear this from you because you were there. Because I think we were a little confused on perhaps the tone of how he was talking about it. Carm was worried that he was kind of calling out the coaching. I don't practice that enough. Or do you think he was just sort of defending himself and pointing out, hey, that's not something I practice a lot, dropping back in the car? How did you read that since you were there?
Yeah, no, I think it's a little bit of both, you guys. And look, so he was pretty disappointed about that play, being put in that situation. You can hear it in the tone of his voice, how he was talking about it. But for people who maybe didn't see this, he said, I'm just doing what the play call is. Maybe I could have seen him. And he's referring to the 3rd and 15 play. But there was another play where he actually had dropped back in coverage too, because that's what I asked him about. But maybe I could have seen him what he was doing. I probably could have got back a little bit more. I don't know. Probably play his lower hip in that route. Maybe got a PBU. I could have got a little deeper in my drop, set and under it or something. It's not what I practice. And that's what I was going to ask him, but he answered it there. So how many times do you practice? I couldn't tell you, brother. And then there's a little bit more that I asked him about. When I was talking to him about, did anything change defensively in the fourth quarter for you guys? Because that's where they kind of gave up 13 points. He first went to the 3rd and 15 play. He didn't even elaborate on anything else defensively. He said 3rd and 15 comes to mind, big play of the game, got to call it better, got to play it better. That's all. So I think there is a little bit of a shot being thrown to, him just being put in that situation, and then also, just being overall disappointed in the play itself. But yeah, now after going, especially that last part, got to call it better because I didn't hear that, right when it was happening because then Eberflus went to the podium, but said got to call it better, got to play it better. That's all.
You've been in a bunch of disappointed locker rooms this year, Nick. Is this number one?
This is number one, you guys, and it was really empty too. And by the time we were in there weren't many guys even talking at that point. But I think you could just feel the weight of this loss, given still what the season with 4 games at the time it could have been had they won this game. And I think the Bears for the most part thought they did have it. And it was weird hearing Darnell Mooney kind of talk like in the third quarter. He said like the offense almost got, I think the exact word was comfortable with where they're at with the lead that they had, which was only I think 10 at that point. And with this team, how things have happened in the past, there's no way you could be comfortable as any player in that locker room. And Matt Eberflus was asked about that. Did you get a sense of that from your sideline? He didn't feel that way. Justin Fields was asked about that. He didn't feel that way either. Neither did Jaquan Brisker. If anything, Jaquan Brisker said, no, as a defense, we were disappointed. We only ended up with 3 turnovers. We should have had 4. So that was interesting that Darnell Mooney said that, but it definitely, going back to your question, Mark, yeah, this one hurt, and as it should, because I think there were a lot of plays left on the table for this Bears team, and they just couldn't execute to the best of their ability today.
Nick, we played a lot of Justin Fields, but not all of it. Did he happen in the rest of that press conference get asked about the 4th and 1 play where he was just barely tripped up by Cam Mitchell and just his view of it? Because that, to me, that ended up being the play of the game.
Yeah, so that's a play that Justin Fields actually really likes. That's what he said about the play. Again, he got tripped up, likes that play call in that situation. He said if he were to kind of do it over again, he'd get as wide as possible to just kind of extend the play, try to get to that sideline there. But, yeah, so he did say it was a play that they did like, and obviously, that was a hell of a play by the defender, being able to trip up Justin Fields in open space. But it's a play they like, just got tripped up.
Did he say anything about throwing it or looking to throw it? Because I think, Carm, was it you who said that DJ Moore was wide open?
I didn't say that.
Bragg
said that.
The idiot over here said
that.
Oh, yeah. You want to come on, Jason?
Is it Leisure?
McKee.
J-Mac.
Adam Hoge's calling for you, man. Hoge's on there.
There he is.
Oh, J-Mac's. I know J-Mac's taking this loss hard.
You could have J-Mac blocking out there today, man.
Yeah. Go home and go to my hotel room and cry. Give me a 6-pack of Bud Lights, kick back and drown in misery.
I feel you, J-Mac. Hey, Nick, tell him real quick. That we all wish he was blocking in the backfield today.
They said they wish you were blocking in the backfield today, Jason.
What did he say? We can't hear him.
He said, I don't even know. Just I don't know.
Hey, let me tell you something about Jason McKee, who's doing a great job as the sideline reporter and analyst this year on the Bears radio network. He takes his losses hard still. Like he really cares about this franchise. Just coaching with him at Carmel this year, I don't know how many Mondays and Tuesdays we've had some tough, unfiltered conversations about this football team, especially early on in the season, those first 4 weeks.
Dudes that wore the uniform, they care about the uniform.
They do. Do not I'm not saying all of them do. I mean, there's certainly former players that go on to live the rest of their lives and maybe don't feel the same.
Jay Cutler doesn't give a shit that the Bears lost today, I promise you.
There's that. But Kyle Long's on Twitter.
I have no idea what just happened.
There's no way Jay watched this game today. Kyle Long, I know, is on Twitter after this game. He feels it. Like guys like that, they care about the blue and the orange the rest of their lives. So All right. Anyone else got anything for Nick here?
Yeah, Nick, just I want to hear what it was like being with Mooney, because that's a tough spot for him to talk, but he's very professional. We listened to it, but being there, I'm just curious if it felt like a guy who, was talking, but it's like almost like I can't wait till I am not in this situation wearing this uniform anymore.
No, I didn't get a sense of that, Mark. And, before we were allowed in the locker room, a couple of us were just kind of asking each other, do you think Mooney's even going to talk? And because he hasn't really been all too available this season, he has like one specific day throughout the week. But, credit to him, he was at his locker. Him and Fields were still talking. He was kind of simulating like what happened, at the end of the game with the Hail Mary attempt. But he spoke, and I don't think it was more so like, I have 3 more games, I'm out of here kind of thing. But he just kept reiterating it was just a tough catch to make, and he did sit down in the end zone afterwards, and just kind of was thinking like, man, it would have been crazy, just like wow, if he would have been able to come up with that catch. But it didn't seem like he was kind of going through the motions, if that makes sense. He did feel like he was being honest with his responses, and ultimately it was just a tough play to make. They try to get it to their biggest guy, which would be Cole Kmet, but if he wasn't falling, you said it definitely would have caught it, but obviously he was on the ground and just didn't end up making the catch.
Yeah. We didn't play Brisker, but anything that stood out from talking to Jaquan?
Yeah. So I talked about him being that sense of comfortability. He didn't feel that from the defense, but he was asked, how did they turn momentum later in that game? And I think it was interesting. He said extended plays from Joe Flacco and good plays from their OC. And when you think extended plays from any quarterback in this game, you would think Justin Fields would be the one creating those types of plays, but we didn't see that all too often. But he credited Joe Flacco for being able to do that and hit on some plays. And then on the Njoku touchdown, where Jaquan Brisker is right in his face, it was a great throw by Joe Flacco and a great catch by Njoku. He said that's a technique that he's actually being taught on that. If anything, he has to just punch through the football on there, and maybe that'll give him a better opportunity to break up that play. And then Mark Potash asked a good question about is this like a backbreaker, losing this game because of, everything that was still at stake for the Bears. And he said, for sure, no doubt. And then he highlighted again that 3rd and 15 play. That was a big play right there. So I know they say that, it's not just one play, but it feels like a lot of defenders are going back to this 3rd and 15 play and just how it didn't go in the Bears' favor.
Nick, we don't get to ask you this enough, so I'm going to put you on the spot. Gut feeling right now, I'm going to do a would you rather. Would you rather have Justin Fields, your current you have 2 top 5 picks right now, plus 3 first-round picks? So maybe you don't end up with 2 top 5 picks. Let's say they're 2 top 10 picks still.
This sounds confusing now.
Okay, let me restart. Scenario 1, you got Justin Fields still on the team next year.
What was confusing about the start of this question, but let's start it again. Go ahead.
You have Justin Fields for next year. You're getting 3 first-round picks in exchange for
the first overall pick.
The first overall pick.
Right.
In the future.
Yeah.
Okay.
3, and then you still have
your 5th.
Your other first-round pick.
Right.
Okay.
Got that?
Yeah.
Okay, so would you rather have all that or Caleb Williams or Drake May, your other top 10 pick, and a 2nd and a 4th, which you would get for trading Justin Fields?
And to be completely fair, I have not watched my tape on enough of it on the other 2 prospects to give you the best answer. But
unlike Braggs' rules, you are allowed to change your opinion between now and the draft.
Okay.
You are not locked into whatever you say right now.
I mean, I wonder, giving Fields even more talent around him, what you can still do with those draft picks. Like I said it before, I'm still a Fields guy. So even after this game, it is a little discouraging how it all played out, but I still would go that route at this point. But I would say I'm definitely becoming more open to the option of, hey, what happens if you do get, one of those 2 quarterbacks, whichever their preference is, and, after I do my homework on them, I'll be able to give a better opinion on this. But I'm becoming more open to that option. But still, at this point, what's today's date? Let me make sure I got December 17th. I'm
17th.
still rocking with the picks and Fields.
Well, the reason why I put you on the spot there is I still think this is not cut and dry. Like, and Nick, and maybe we can transition to some of this conversation after we let you go here, Nick, just in terms of these 7 general managers that all agreed on the same thing, that you let Justin Fields go. I just don't think it's that obvious. So anyway, Nick, great job out there in Cleveland. Get home safely, stay dry, and
or go to Columbus.
Or go to Columbus and hang out with Bud Nick. It's always a good option too. And then we'll have to hear what the Flus has to say tomorrow at Hallis Hall.
Sounds good, you guys. Have a great rest of your show.
Nick, don't drop your boarding pass before you get on the plane.
Did that happen to you, Mark?
No, it happened to Darnell Mooney, Nick.
Oh.
I
didn't.
Oh, okay.
Nobody got that? I thought it was
I didn't get it at
funny.
all.
Not funny at all, Lawrence? Nah, okay, fine. Wasn't funny, Nick. Have a great flight.
Bye, guys.
Follow Nick on Twitter at Nicholas Moreano and read all his work from Cleveland at ALLCHGO.com.
Not going to be a lot of talk on that plane ride coming back tonight.
What did you guys think of the 7 GMs that all thought it was like an easy decision? Because when you lay it out like that, you can, if you stick with Fields, depending on who you trade with, I don't think it's off the table to get 3 first-round picks. Now, that would include this year, so you still have 2.
You're talking about Charles Robinson's article in Yahoo,
Yes.
where he talked to a bunch of GMs, and none of them thought that Fields had much value because you either have to commit to the 5th year, you have to find somebody who's willing to do that, which is, versus taking a flyer on a 1 year, who's willing to say, like, from what I've seen, I know that's my guy, I'm committing to it, and I'm going to pay up for it, like the Panthers did for Sam Darnold. People don't think that you're going to get that. So I just look at it like somebody out there has got to be looking at Justin and thinking the Bears have absolutely not put this guy in a position to win, and if we put him in our system here with
Wait, but time out. If people don't think that you're going to get a lot for Justin Fields in return, wouldn't that actually increase the likelihood that he comes back?
Perhaps.
Because to me it would be someone's offering us a first-round pick for Justin Fields. To me, that makes the decision easier.
Yes, I agree. That's the whole thing. You're not right.
Because then I can draft Caleb Williams and still have the 2 first-round picks this year, which is the scenario you have if you keep Justin.
I don't really think the trade implications of what Justin's doing matter as much as what Ryan Poles thinks of Caleb Williams or Drake May. We can also include Drake. People that just like wipe out Drake May.
I agree with you on that.
I think is funny, but
I do too. Actually, right now I would probably pick Drake May. Personal preference for me would be Drake May over
there's going to be a lot
Caleb
of people that go that route, and I'm not going to pretend like I'm the expert on which one is going to be better. I'd probably go Caleb Williams.
I think both are a risk, though. Probably more so than most do.
Every draft pick's a risk. I mean, so I don't think the trade – I don't think what you get for Fields has anything to do with – it has as much bearing as how strongly Poles feels about either one of these guys. If you only get a second-round pick for Fields and that's it, well, you can't pass up on a quarterback if you're quote-unquote, and I'm using Ryan Poles' phrasing, blown away by one of these quarterbacks, because he's got to look at it from a standpoint of, yeah, you can get a quarterback in the second round like Jalen Hurts or whoever, but the amount of opportunities you'll ever have to pick a quarterback you feel strongly about, if he does, then you're going to take that guy. Now, does it make sense to me when we're talking about the Charles Robinson thing, or what Greg Olsen tweeted this as well, that he would move on? Yeah, it does. And if you're asking me right now what I'm going to do, I'm going to draft Caleb Williams with the number 1 pick.
Okay. I think that's fair.
He makes all the throws. He moves well, navigates well in the pocket. He's got a quick release. Yes, he has fumbling issues, and those are going to be well documented as we get into the offseason. But he has a lot of really good attributes that are the reason why he's such an intriguing prospect and why people have glossed over him. He won the Heisman last year. He's been a great quarterback in college for the last 2 years. But that, I know if Ryan Poles is going to do that? No, I don't.
AFC general manager from the Yahoo piece. When you pass on talented quarterbacks, quote, to lean into a guy's development, which the Bears did when they traded the number 1 last year, you have to be completely sure of that decision to do it a second time. They might not have taken C.J. Stroud with the first pick last offseason, but he was there for them to do it. Caleb Williams is a no-brainer. If they get the top pick, he's there for them. Sometimes the gamble is continue to pass on players. Fields doesn't get over the hump. You don't want to be the guys that passed on both Stroud and Caleb Williams. So that general manager is talking about from a keeping your job security standpoint. I don't think that Poles should be making the decision, well, I passed on Stroud last year, so I can't do that again this year. Those decisions to me are separate. You evaluated Stroud and Bryce Young last year, you made your decision. That's got nothing to do with how you're evaluating Caleb and Drake May this year. It's completely separate. Do you like these guys? Are they transformational? Do you think you can win a Super Bowl with them? Do they give you a better chance than Justin? Then you draft them. That's how I would do it.
I'm seeing this very relevant to this conversation right now. Marquis has a tweet here with video of DJ Moore after this game. And obviously I can't hear the video because we're doing a live show. But the tweet says here, apparently he was asked about Caleb Williams and Drake May. And his response was, again, this is DJ Moore, Justin Fields' number 1 wide receiver. I don't think Caleb Williams and Drake May are better than Justin.
Wow.
Now, does that matter? A little bit.
That's strong.
Because that's the other layered. This is why I just think this is so layered and so hard. Like, part of me, like, congrats to Ryan Poles for everything he's done to put this franchise in such a great position to have the opportunities they do this offseason. As hard as this discussion is, as much fighting as it's going to cause between Bears fans, the reality is a great situation to be in. All that said, I do not envy him for having to make this decision.
No, it's a tough one.
It's incredibly hard. And another layer to this is, I bet you if you polled that locker room, the approval rating for Justin Fields would be 90%, if not higher. And that's a real thing. If they trade Justin Fields, now is it something that they can get over? Probably. But, let's talk to Cole Kmet about this, which we'll have the opportunity to. I would imagine that even in Cole, I don't want to speak for Cole, but he's a huge part of that locker room too. I think he'd be pretty bummed out for a little bit.
I mean, DJ Moore's not stupid, and you come in here as one of the top dogs on this team. Ryan Poles traded for you, and you are putting a quote out there. You're having your quarterbacks back, but you're putting your GM on Front Street right then and there with that statement. That is powerful stuff right there.
Well, I got to hear the interaction, and that's an insane question to ask him, which is...
Well, because he could have easily said, it's not my place to talk about, da-da-da-da. He
could have done that, but look, it's not his decision, obviously, and it would be insane if he had sat there and be like, oh my God, have you seen Caleb? I can't wait to have him in there. He cannot say that. So him backing Justin is not a huge surprise there. But
to answer it the way he did, I mean, to Braggs' point, he could have just been like, those decisions are made way above my head.
I don't watch college, because you can't. Everyone knows what conversation is. I mean, Bears fans.
This is the type of quote that comes back to you the day when they draft Caleb Williams in April. We're going to see this quote.
Right. This is like Urlacher.
It's going to be on
this is Urlacher calling Jay Cutler a pussy. When they traded for Jay and that quote was out there.
I mean, maybe we'll go back. Look, in 1982, when the Bears were firing whoever, Neil Armstrong, and they were hiring Ditka's, and the defense led by Hamp and Singletary and all those guys, they wrote a letter to George Halas, and he said, "You'll have your coach and Buddy Ryan. Maybe the offense will do the same thing here in 2023 and write a letter to Ryan Poles and tell him, hey, this is our quarterback. This is who we are going to win with. We want Justin to be here." They could do that. Justin's very well liked in there. Period. End of story. So you're not going to hear anybody say anything bad about him. But is that really what they think? I mean, maybe it is. I don't know.
Well, but that's my point. And to your point about the trade haul, I've said this from the beginning. And you got people in the chat, I hear it on Twitter, how you're flip-flopping or you're hedging. I'm sorry. You're not going to push me into a corner on this. I am fine. I trust Ryan Poles.
I love when he has arguments with people that aren't you and me on this show.
We are talking to the chat. I'm talking to the chat right now. Talking to the chat,
Who?
and I'm
Name it,
talking
call
to
it
you
out.
two jamokes.
Call it out.
I don't know their names. Whatever idiots are in here. No, I'm kidding. I love you guys. I had one guy, Pip, trying to say shit about me. Again, I trust Ryan.
I've never said that.
I trust Ryan Poles. So whatever decision he makes, what I would do, you asked what I would do. I would draft Caleb Williams. But if they decide to keep Justin Fields and trade all those picks, I'm not going to bitch like half the people in our chat are going to bitch about it. I'm not going to do that.
I don't
because if Ryan Poles decides to stick with his guys and get a draft haul, that's a great thing for the Bears.
I don't want
That's what I'm saying. Like, everyone talks about, like, and that's what those general managers are saying in that story. Like, oh, there's a rookie contract. You get them cheap for all these years. Like, okay, fine. That might nudge the Caleb Williams ledger up here a little bit. But when you add in the idea that you could have 2 first-round picks for the next 3 years, I'm sorry, that's worth something too.
It's got
maybe
value.
more than whatever financial flexibility you get.
because like people talk about, well, you got to pay Justin Fields. But if you have 3 extra first-round picks and all those players are on a rookie contract, you get close to the money evening out in that regard.
100%.
Well, but let's also look at it from this standpoint. And look, Ryan's done a really good job. Montez Sweat trade looks phenomenal. The DJ Moore trade, with the fact they're in this position, is super solid. All of it. However, you evaluated the quarterbacks last year.
Yep.
And you said no to C.J. Stroud, who didn't play today because he's out hurt, but is going to be the offensive rookie of the year, and is going to, you know, if he gets back healthy, is going to throw for over 4,000 yards. Justin, at the end of this year, looks like he's not going to be able to have thrown for over 2,500, and you passed on that dude. So, do I trust that he's going to get this evaluation right? That his evaluation of skilled offensive position players is not sterling. It includes Chase Claypool. It includes Velus Jones. It includes, whether you like it or not, it includes his evaluation of C.J. Stroud. So it makes me nervous on some level to pass on, saying, get out of here, Justin, because I'm 100% certain my evaluation that this dude's better. There's not a huge evidence that Ryan's got this one nailed. Maybe you got to trust your GM, but I think you'd be right to be a little skeptical that he's going to nail it.
All right, we got a lot of super chats to get to, and we're gonna have to wrap this thing up here relatively soon. So I think we've got them all on the screen. So we apologize if in this edition of the show we
they've
don't
all been up. They've all
read
been
them
up.
all, but they were all on the screen. We appreciate the support very, very much. Do need to tell you that we are also supported by Goose Island Beer Company. We love Goose Island. They are a proud sponsor of CHGO. We love partnering with them. They've been Chicago's beer since
1988. Damn it.
That's right. Damn it. Right now, you can get a whole bunch of great beer, like the Beer Hug family. Should have grabbed one of those before the show started. 312 Wheat Ale is just an all-timer, ready to go at any time. The Full Pocket Pills, it's an everyday beer. It's what the Goose Island Brewers are drinking. And you can grab ultra-fresh, brewery-exclusive beers at Goose Island's original brew house from their tap room on Fulton Street.
Correct. The other one closed.
Yes. But is that the whatever? That did happen last week. That was kind of sad.
Goose is going forward in ways that we
No, they
can't.
are. Well, they're going to join the Salt Shed, I think, which is going to be
correct.
sweet.
Yeah.
But the nostalgic in me, the guy who grew up in Lincoln Park and used to go to Goose Island back in the 90s when I was nowhere near 21.
So old.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Old Man River.
Look at all the grays coming in over here. I might be chronologically older than you.
Someone go back and look at how much gray hair was on this head the first day I worked here at CHGO.
Oh, there it is.
And then the second these two came along.
There it is.
On a daily basis.
There it is.
Anyway, you can grab Ultra Fresh Brewery exclusive beers at their location, their tap room on Fulton Street in Westtown, which is a sweet place. Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer. Let's get to these supers.
Have a goose. Have two. I have 3. I think I'm going to be stopping somewhere for a goosey tonight. Let's goosey it up.
The stock gobbler. Let's get to. Can we make a pack right now? The 3 of us.
Yeah.
What did I do?
Let's get through these fast.
Great. Go ahead.
Okay. Don't talk to me. It's him.
You do not need to respond and have a 20-minute conversation about each one.
Let's go bing, bang, boom.
Bing, bang, boom.
Let's see if you follow this lead.
Okay. I'll go first.
Okay.
Then Carm. Then me. Then Carm. Then me. Then Carm.
I don't know if you want to include Carm, to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go in order. Greg, you'll be third. This is how this works. The stock gobbler, $5. Drink Goose Island. They blunt the pain the beats bring.
Honestly, either way. Either Bears beats or Bears Bears. Yeah.
Goose Island. Honk, honk.
Thank you, the stock gobbler. Next up is Stephen Weatherford, one of our most loyal. $49.99. Stephen, we appreciate you.
I think he might be on the goose. There's a lot of mistakes in this.
50.
Comment unneeded. Fields didn't lose this. He did his assignment of a Hail Mary 2 effing times and almost got the first because Mooney had to block. Again, this was because we, of course...
I think this is an autocorrect situation.
Huge decisions?
Maybe.
They played scared trying to score the most. They got timid. Steven, they did have a stretch where they could have been going for more. We appreciate you. Thank you.
That's right. We appreciate you, Steven. Bills winning 31-3.
Logan.
Helping strength of schedule. Logan, right out. $20 super chat. How many times are we going to run it up the middle for no gain?
Many times.
Running game was not good enough today. Remind me at the end, by the way, one comment on the first Fields interception.
You're not allowed that comment.
Alex, $20. Mooney's shit play has been under the radar this year, explained away as JF1's inability to accommodate 2 wide receivers. But that narrative is dead, responsible for 2 dropped interceptions, missed block on Fields' 4th and 1, and the last play.
It's been not anywhere close to good enough for Darnell this year.
Carm, you should like this guy's name.
Yeah, Maximus Headroom. $19.99.
Max Headroom, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Max. Appreciate you. I have enough data now. Can anyone honestly say Fields doesn't get the W with Marvin Harrison Jr. and Bowers? Bye-bye, Getsy. Keep the rest. Resets are painful. Excellence takes time, even with progress. Lions will win 0 playoff games this year. Thank you, Maximus.
Maximus, love it. $19.99 super chat from Johnny Fiegel.
The Feegs.
We've all seen enough. Luke Getsy is not suited to be the offensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears. His play calling is utterly incoherent. He has not developed any semblance of an identity. Who, if anyone, would succeed in his system?
That would be the underlining of the most popular take in Bears land right now. Get rid of Getsy, keep everybody else.
Robert June, $20. That's a fine for Carm. Carm, my least favorite. Why don't you pound the table for Bagent and trade Fields? Trade the number 1 pick for a haul. Draft a quarterback with the later pick and give Bagent a chance to compete. Also, the whole coaching staff goes. What Robert left out there, though, is you can also sign Derek Carr in the offseason.
That is a mega haul. Think about that. Trade Fields, trade the number 1 pick. Think how many receivers Bagent would have.
Listen.
You could have Malik Neighbors and Marvin Harrison Jr. and DJ Moore and Tyler Scott and Brock Bowers.
Swinging in from West Virginia. Garrode. 10 euros. Having Herbert in blocking a linebacker with Roshan on the sidelines is idiotic. The drop by Mooney is up there with the double doink.
Wow.
And Trenton Gill is a real problem. Garrode, you just garroded to your best.
I agreed.
That was the best garrode.
Larry Strickland, $10 super chat. I get the GM financial aspect of resetting the quarterback clock, but I feel you age out of your good players on both sides before your rookie quarterback gets how the NFL speed goes. I don't want to do it, but OC number 3.
That's the situation I want to avoid the most, I think. Jake Buthman. The
Buther.
$9.99. Fields should have 100-plus more yards and at least 2 more touchdowns, if not for drops. Can't imagine how the OC can be allowed to stay when he costs us games.
Jake, I hear you, but the OC wasn't dropping passes to your point that you're underlining there. $9.99 from Andrew Sullivan. Couldn't you run it back with Fields, trade back, and then reassess the quarterback decision next year as well? You'll have similar draft capital with at least 2 first-rounders next year. Well, if they hit another home run with the Carolina Panthers of 2024, yes, but that's a big risk, Andrew.
Double dip from Mark Gauthier of the Easingwold Bears fan club.
The GOAT.
Yeah, this loss is on the coaching staff. Left 2 field goal attempts in the pocket. Prevent defense and no running the ball to wind down the clock.
Stupid.
I don't know what that means. Oh, stupid.
That was classic.
And he followed up with
an amazing moment.
The Bears.
I don't know what that means.
Stupid.
He says.
I gotta
I thought it was another one of them acronyms.
I gotta admit, I was right with Braggs. I thought it was some weird acronym.
STUPID.
Shut the hell up.
But no, it was just that I'm stupid.
Can't read. Can't understand
this
what
is my
stupid
karma
means.
for making fun of Hoge with those for all those years to run into the worst one possible.
Keep going.
No, I don't want to keep.
All
right, I'll read it. Mark $4.99. Lawrence, by the way, let's pick 5 of the best ones left. The Bears don't deserve JF1, and I hope he's traded to another team so we can move on and ruin the next great QB prospect.
Come on, GOAT. Don't do that.
First, these next 2 haven't been on the screen yet, so let's hit these.
Got it. Nerd Mafia $9.99. Carm is brought to you tonight by Flus.
My man.
Goose.
Yes.
Chase the Flus with a goose for a boost.
Thank you, Nerd Mafia.
And we got Blake Savald, $9.99. What makes him not the quarterbacks of the Chicago Bears? I get you have everyone coming out. What is there 2 of them? I don't think they're better than Justin, so they're cool. DJ Moore.
Yeah, well, we just addressed that one. He's in bed with his QB.
Was that the actual quote? I don't know what that was. Nick Link, $4.99. If we go away from Fields, why not go Marvin Harrison Jr. first pick and Jaden Daniels in the 5th?
Because they're going to try to hit a home run.
Jaden Daniels not going to be in the 5th.
He's saying
with
the
number
5th
5,
pick in the draft.
We're going to try to trade back and get picks. That's why. And maybe they'll only drop back to number 3, and maybe Marvin Harrison Jr. will be there, and everybody will go crazy and think we're going to win the Super Bowl, which we may.
Brian Lutz, $10. I saw this game as a prime example for needing another number 1 wide receiver. DJ Moore not being full healthy seemed to impact the offense quite a bit. I agree with you.
1,000%.
If you watched the Bengals yesterday, when Jamar Chase got hurt late in the game, T. Higgins stepped up, looked like a number 1. So,
my God, that catch!
Yeah,
or the awareness.
Oh yeah,
the awareness.
What Jalen Waddle's doing in Miami without Tyreek today.
That was great.
We need more guys.
Yeah, Jalen Waddle stepped up too. Definitely need more weapons.
Man, Malik Neighbors is a player too. I know everybody. I love Marvin Harrison Jr. I've wanted him for 3 years, but Neighbors is intriguing.
Caleb Straight, $9.99. Are people serious? Tanyan dropped an 80-yard touchdown. Tyler Scott dropped a 25-yard dart to get closer to a field goal, and Mooney dropped game-winning touchdowns. Not even remotely close to JF1's fault. It's laughable. I agree with you, man. There are a couple classic JF1 plays, but I've told you guys that you're going to get 3 of those a game. He did everything else.
No argument.
No one helped him today.
No,
100%.
That's how we started the show. No argument from anybody out here.
Professor Fumble Door, $10.
Ball.
Angrier at Getsy for scheming his second-string receivers open, or the fact they cannot catch. Getsy hater brought this up last week. Reminder: hit like.
Thank you.
Hit the like button. Do you have Carm notes today, by the way, or no?
I do.
Do we really?
They're over there.
Do you want them? Are we doing that?
Are they funny? Is there any? Because if you go get them,
I would like to do them if they're worth it.
They're funny and amazing, and I'm incredible.
All right, go get it, and if they're not funny,
Lawrence is getting it.
Oh. You sit there and think about being better. $9.99 from Cornelius Pryor. People want to pile on Justin, but it's football against a good defense. Justin didn't have his best game, but his teammates let him down in a game where you knew points were going to be hard to come by. Thank you, Greg.
Sorry to crack you over the head with that.
I knew you were thinking about it.
Are we good on supers?
I mean, there's a couple more I do want to do, but
do them.
Do them real quick. Pick them out.
Give me one.
Okay, hold on. My favorite one is from Avo. 5 pounds sterling. Checking in from Bridlington, Yorkshire. Next season going to be great, boys. Chin up. I love the show. Makes me feel closer to Chicago. Bears.
We appreciate you tuning in.
That's huge.
Avo.
Love that one. Okay, Carmen, you hit this.
All right. Well, we started out the game is with the Browns actually won the toss and took the ball, which is the first team that did that this year. We were all kind of amazed by the Cleveland Browns. Were afraid of the Chicago Bears and them getting the ball first, which was a good sign. That didn't actually turn out to be anything.
Bears had a chance to double dip because of that. They got 0 points.
Yeah, the Tunyon drop. Somebody on this set was screaming as loud as he possibly could. Tunyon.
Sounds like Hoge.
Yeah.
I made 0 noise except for the fact that I collapsed on the floor over there and pounded really hard.
Yeah.
You guys missed that because you don't like sitting with me during games.
You finally realized that your setup's not good and you should be hanging out with your friends, and you did a good job hanging out with us today. DJ Moore had a catch at the sidelines, and he sold it real fast. Like, he was racing up to the line. Everybody come. And he actually made the Browns burn a challenge. That was a great job by DJ.
It's a great catch.
Where Pip at says, I love you, Braggs. I did call him an idiot earlier. He called me a little flipper boy. It hurt my feelings. So then I called him an idiot. So now we're making amends.
That's great. You guys should.
You should pay him money too.
You guys should have a Spaces tonight, the two of you.
Come in the Spaces on Twitter.
I'll listen.
We'll hash it out.
I'll listen. Adam Hoge. Deontay Foreman missed a block, and the next play he got the ball. Hoge, F that.
That's stupid. He missed a. If you can't block, you don't get rewarded with the ball in the next play. You get subbed out, or you throw it away from him. You don't hand him the ball.
End of the first quarter,
F outta here.
Justin goes out of bounds, and
Hey, I caught it though. I'm like, Darnell.
And they could have gone back up to the line of scrimmage and at least try to draw Cleveland off sides. They didn't do that. It was not a part of what should be a part of the hits principle. Did not like that.
I hated everything about what happened right before halftime.
Yeah, well, that was the end of the first quarter.
Oh,
now,
sorry.
the incredible Justin Fields play where he ran around and found Kmet. I wrote down Fields is getting paid at that point.
You did.
Which
He'll get paid by somebody else, yeah.
None of these are funny yet. I'm waiting for the laugh.
I know, right?
All right.
This is like when Eberflus just breaks down the whole game for 8 minutes.
For 5 minutes, yeah.
I want funny. Amuse me, clown.
What's the Browns kicker's name? The punter?
The punter?
Yeah.
Bajorquez?
Bajorquez was a big hit in there. People were just yelling that out all day long, mainly Kevin Koenig.
What's not to like about a lefty punter who actually is good?
Yeah, all right, I'll move through these quickly because I've got people that are impatient. Good loop, Adam Hoge, and he called it the Phil Snow Special, the loopy loop.
Well, that I added at the end just to make you happy. Yeah, they looped around the edge. Montez Sweat, Sack City.
Yeah.
What they should call it.
So we have the Trent Taylor fumble. We all lose our minds. And then Tyreek Stevenson gets the pick on the next play. And Adam Hoge screamed out, "That's the difference from last year to this year." Hoge.
Yep.
Naming progress.
Well, defense picking up the offense until they can't anymore because the offense is that bad.
And then we had the 4th and 1, and Jaquan Brisker walking up to Flus and saying, "Go for it, go for it, go for it, go for it, go for it." And the Flus had that smile on his face. He smiled at Brisker. It was so beautiful. The chemistry on the Bears.
Oh, so it's Brisker's fault because they didn't get it.
You can blame the Brisker if you want, but they had a nice moment.
That was a dime.
That was not.
Terrible throw by our producer.
Yeah, and we'll just wrap it up with this. Adam Hoge just calling it with 3 minutes to go. Heartbreaking loss. I'm all over it. This is what's coming. This is what's happening. This is what they do. I screamed at him. That is absolutely not happening. They're winning this football game. And unfortunately for all of us, this guy was right.
I'm not happy about that, by the way.
But that's your Bears experience, I suppose, paid off today with that prediction.
By the way, the Blackhawks did an entire postgame show since you started Carm's notes.
What? The Bears lost? Jay, we're going to make you come in here and sit down and talk about it too. If you don't show this show the amount of respect that we deserve for sitting here every week for 3 hours trying to figure out why we do this.
Was that the whole notes?
I flew through them because somebody was getting impatient.
The Blackhawks and Bears both having the number one picks back-to-back years.
It's 5:49. I know that Hogan John's got to be taped somewhere to Hogan John's near you.
Oh, you know John's just sitting somewhere impatiently getting
He just left the stadium and got a ride.
You know what? John's could sit there and wait for 4 straight hours, and we would still not be even for the amount of time I've waited for him over the years.
Yeah, John's.
Yeah, John's. We don't make the mansion wait over
Are you
on
done?
the show. Yes, I'm done.
Okay. Are we done?
We are. It's over. Listen, I would just like to say in closing,
the season is over.
I'm gonna hold out hope that it's not, because I'm an idiot and I live my life in an optimistic way, as you guys know. I always see possibility. I do not talk about things that are negative. I'm going to sit here and think about the Falcons and the Cardinals and have a 3% chance in Week 18 that they can beat Green Bay and something positive will happen. That's how I'm going to live my life. You guys are free to do whatever you guys want.
Eagles beat the Seahawks. Rams beat the Saints. Lions beat the Vikings. Giants beat the Rams. Vikings beat the Packers. Steelers beat the Seahawks. Lions beat the Vikings. 49ers beat the Rams. And the Bears went out. Bears are in the playoffs.
Lock it up. By the way, I don't think that's the only scenario. My prediction is that they're not eliminated going into Week 18. I don't think they make the playoffs.
I've been very excellent at doing the math.
I don't think they beat the Packers either. Yeah. But going into that game, I think they're alive.
Still 2,000 of you watching, please, if you haven't yet.
Well, and I'll just say this much, because it does seem like we're moving past playoff scenario talk to now back to off-season talk. And like Hoge said, this is something I would echo with Hogan. I think he's nailed it on the head. This is what is coming this offseason, whether it's the head coach or the quarterback, is not an easy decision. And everybody's got a hardline opinion. Everybody's digging their heels in the dirt on what they think is the right decision. But at the end of the day, it is not an easy one coming. And I would caution fans to try to keep an open mind. And from where I stand, as I've said before, I'm going to just sit back and trust Ryan Poles to make the right decision and support whatever decision he makes. If you don't want to be that type of fan, go right ahead. But that's where I'm going to be when it comes to what's to come for this Bears team.
Y'all have a great evening. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow at noon.
Yeah, we appreciate all the support, everybody watching throughout another 2+ hour show. Hopefully we broke it down in every way possible. Congrats to Mark Carman on getting through the whole show without going to the bathroom.
Yeah, that's true.
Good job. Depends.
Big day for me.
The North Shore, what is the sponsor we're trying to get?
North Shore Adult Diapers.
That's it.
Also tied for first in picking games this year. Thank you very much.
Not anymore.
There's a big tie at the top. No, there's a lot of people tied at the top now.
Did you pick the Bears?
No.
No, I did not.
Oh, you picked the Browns?
You two
I
picked
did
the
Okay,
not.
so we're tied with Braggs now.
Yeah. Congratulations. You finally caught me after
So all
2
of us-
years of doing these games with me.
All of us are tied at the top, not just
What are you giving
Carm.
me?
I've been tied with you all year. It's the first week you've been up on me.
I said 2 years. I was 13-4 last year, so you still got ground to cover in your career here at CHGO trying to be smarter than me, which you'll never be.
We'll be back tomorrow with Herb Howard, and we'll see what Flus has to say.
Don't forget Braggs after dark tomorrow night, and he's got a Spaces coming up at about 6:26.
I'll be in Spaces here shortly as I drive my car into Lake Michigan.
See you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.